I'm out in the water, come jump right in, 'cause we going farther than we ever been. I'm out in the water, come jump right in, we going farther than we ever been.
We're live! Episode 31. 3-1. Ocean Waves.
Indigo Ryan, the Navigator.
Calbino.
You're not going to introduce yourself?
Well, he just skipped right over me, so...
You didn't say anything.
Bree.
Indy Dwayne. The Ken.
Kedah.
Justin, the guru with no voice.
All right, welcome to episode 31.
Justin the voiceless.
We got a special one today. We're going to be talking about parenting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right in, is he?
Yep.
It's ready. We're not talking, we're not setting topics. Let's set a topic. Let's talk about parenting.
I
Well,
will say this real quick.
Well, that was the point of this podcast, right?
No, I was just
Otherwise, you might as well just recorded the last 3 hours.
I will
Call
say
it
this. I did not watch 30 yet.
You didn't watch 30?
I didn't watch 30.
That's fine.
I actually completely forgot, but I was like really
I didn't-
excited.
I just edited it. I didn't watch it. I edited it.
It was good though.
Yeah, it was good.
Good stuff.
27 is the funniest one we've ever done, though.
Yeah, I was
By
thinking
far.
that.
27.
I watched it.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean
I
that
remember
30 wasn't
thinking
one
to
of the best
myself
ones.
that was
It's
a good
okay.
one
It's
as we
okay.
walked out.
Yeah.
10 was a good one. I haven't watched 27.
27 is like the
I have to
funniest
watch
one.
it.
Yeah.
What was 27?
I don't know, just a lot of jokes and inappropriate stuff. It's funny.
For like every 10 to 15 episodes we have one of those, because I feel like number 10 was like that also. So
True. Well, this was
We good.
inspired by a fan. This one.
Yeah.
So what was
Pokey
the actual?
Sparky. Well, actually, Pokey Sparky's wife said that we should do a podcast about he said it as a couples podcast, but I wasn't going to exclude you guys. So my idea was to make it about parenting and
They are
you
shipped.
guys being uncles. So that was my idea. So parenting and uncleship.
I'm gonna-
Uncleship, huh?
Yeah.
Real quick, just quick joke. This is a joke, so don't get mad at me. But I'm gonna start a fan page, and I'm gonna start making edits of you two looking at each other romantically, and start a whole
That's
thing.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first one
Hashtag
on the hashtag
Dwayne.
Dwayne. Hashtag Dwayne.
Not
Dwayne.
trying to be the next one, Bree.
Hashtag Dwayne.
Hashtag Dwayne.
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 Like DWEYEN.
Hashtag not doing
You'll see me
Dwayne.
swimming
That's not my
comfortably
hashtag.
across the
What are y'all
Pacific
doing
Ocean
today?
to get to the other side. So.
This is very visually pleasing.
I know this might distract me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For y'all that don't know, we have a screen that we're looking at. It's against us. It's very.
Calvin apparently doesn't own a drill.
If
Calvin's
you
been
don't
lying
come with
about
the drill next
this whole
time, I'm gonna buy my own drill, and from the rest of the time that I use that drill, I'm gonna send you a picture saying
Every single time.
you have
I know you are.
physically wasted my money because you weren't a good enough
No,
friend to
no,
just bring me this so I could
because-
use it the one
Bro,
time I
that is
actually.
so
we have already
dramatic.
discussed the importance
But dude, it's
of owning a
my
drill.
my opinion is that a month has gone by where I would have remembered one of these times to bring you if you asked me for one thing. I haven't got my shirt back. I just need a drill. I don't really want to buy a drill because I only need it for this one thing.
Yes,
But if I have to
my
buy the
rebuttal-
drill for this one thing, I will do it. Now
my
the other hand is
rebuttal
that
to
it's a
you-
heavy TV, so I'm not trying to just do. Jason and I can't really do it just ourselves
Yeah.
because I don't want to fall down or fall off the wall or whatever. So
But,
either way, I have to wait. But
my rebuttal to you not buying a drill is the shovel, because our neighbor has a shovel. We've been working on the garden, so we needed a shovel. And so in my head, I was like, all right, well, I'll just continually I should only need it for the 1 or 2 days. And so I'll ask him for the shovel real quick. Borrow the shovel, set it back outside. He moved it back in the shed, and he wasn't home for the entire time I wanted to use it. So I was just like, dang, I should go get a shovel. And so as much as, yes, you need the drill for this one thing, there's also a lot
I'm gonna need a drill for more things, but at the same time, it's like
I should have brought the drill.
At the same time, it's
so
like
I can't use it as a scapegoat.
If you're not gonna bring my shirt back, just tell me. So that way, it's not like, oh, I gotta think, oh, he's gonna bring my shirt back. No, it's more just like, oh, I'm not gonna do it, and then there's nothing to hold against you because you told me I'm not, and then next time you just don't get the shirt.
The call out of
you know, or next time I'm just not gonna go get the thing because that's just like
Bree,
it's a two-way street.
How does it feel to watch?
But I do know that I'm gonna need it.
Like
So
this.
the next time that I need a drill,
Feels good.
the next time I need a drill that's not for this, I will go buy one.
I mean, yeah.
But in my mind, it's like the only thing I can see right now that I need a drill for real is this, because that's the only product I need to do at the moment. But soon, if we do the shed, shit like that, we're gonna need the drill, whatever. So I'll go buy one. But do I need to spend money on a drill this week, or can I wait a couple weeks or a month to actually spend my money?
You act like you didn't come from the same.
Hold
Hey,
on.
I already took. Hold on.
I asked
hold
you
on.
to help me.
I already took responsibility. I said, Ryan, I did not put it in my head that I needed to bring it. I said, but right now I'm putting it in my head now, so it's gonna happen.
Okay, I will say this: two sides of the coin.
But I haven't known for 2 months.
That's cap.
All right, hold on. This is my perspective. Two sides of the coin. One, like, it has been a while, and Ryan has asked you a bunch of times, so you can add that in consideration. Two, even though it is for the greater good, you're the one asking for the drill, and if you know they're coming, you can easily just call and be like the time you know that they're going to be leaving or whatever, just before or in the morning, say, hey, grab that drill, or hey, call me before you leave. Tell Eddie, call me before you leave. So worst case scenario, they call before you leave, and it's like, oh, this, make sure you get the drill and you can make it happen. Because at the end of the day, even though it's for the greater good, it is, you're asking Calvin to do you a favor, technically, if you break it down. So you need to make it as easy as possible.
On my other side is that if it was reversed, I 100% feel like I would have brought.
But it's not
drill
reversed.
back.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying, but in our relationship,
Yeah.
in my mind, it's like I'm asking Calvin for something. I would like him to deliver it for me.
No.
That way, when he asks
No.
me for
It's not-
something,
it's not a favor. It's assignment. Like,
And
my
it's fine.
assignment is bring the drill.
because at the end of the day,
I
it's all
drop
part.
ball
The part
there
is
and there, and so
this
it's a
is
drill.
not for me. This is for the great.
It's funny 'cause you guys
I
both
didn't
agree,
say
but
one
I-
thing about this
I
at
know
all.
I'm in the wrong.
Y'all brought it up. I didn't say anything about it.
He's
Y'all
just trying
brought
to
it
make
up.
something
Y'all
happen.
said it looks nice. It's pleasing. So in my mind, this is the greater good of it all. Whatever you see in there, you might think of a thought. You might find a thing.
Amber,
It's all
I
for-
told you we're doing the podcast. You and Carter need to go play.
So
There was an agreement.
if it was for my room, it would be a
Can
different
y'all
story.
let do you guys want to turn something on the TV?
I think they're
They're already gone.
Yeah.
She knew, I already told her what the what
There's
she
an
needed to
agreement.
do.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't
Carter
understand nothing's
got-
wrong.
I just feel like I don't ask for that much
You
at
don't.
the end of the day.
You know.
Yeah, but also
That's the reason
And I am very giving.
And
too,
that,
so it's
that's
like,
why I always feel bad when I drop the
you
ball.
know,
on
even
your
this, like
team.
even setting up the whole thing, like an hour and a half we sat
I'm
down
gonna
here
say this
waiting.
because I do know you very well to the point where I do feel like sometimes you overwork yourself where you didn't need to. Like, you didn't need to set everyone's stuff up. Like, we all.
Yeah, but we were sitting here for an hour and a half. What else am I gonna do?
Yeah, but you were sitting here for an hour and a half, but I got the call like 5 minutes. You called me. We're down here in 5 minutes. Where it's time to go, time to get into action. Only one, Bree came up and said, "Oh, you guys ready for the podcast?" And we said, "Yeah," but that wasn't like, "Oh, we're going to do this right now." As soon as you're like, "We're doing the podcast," I told him. We wrapped up what we were doing, and we came downstairs. You didn't have to do all this, and then we sat here for 15 minutes. So yeah, like, I appreciate it, and we all do. But you also stretch yourself out to a point, work yourself up to a point where you feel some type of way about it.
But it's not,
You didn't have to
because
do it.
I would have already liked to be an hour and a half into the podcast already. Y'all
you should've
chose to
said
go
that.
up there and then start that instead
So
instead
from
of
the beginning, you should have said that you were playing.
I said I'm down.
basketball.
I said I'm down and start do the podcast at 1.
Yeah, but okay,
So-
let's be fair though, right? When I was here, when the baby was sleeping, you guys were playing basketball. That was your choice, right? That was your choice. And now when I'm like, okay,
That was when
I'm
they
off.
weren't here yet. Then they pulled up.
Okay, fair. But then you had the same thing. Me and Eddie were playing Pokemon, doing the Pokemon.
Yeah, but
thing
also,
upstairs.
but all I'm saying is that like that's fine. That's another idea that's branching off, and you guys are doing your thing. But you guys are considering that's just what you guys want to do at that moment. Okay, fine. But us three are sitting down here. They're waiting for you guys to come downstairs. But then so Bree goes up, and then 30 minutes later you still haven't come. So then Keita calls. But in reality, 30 minutes prior was when we were actually ready.
Okay,
So
but
I'm like, okay, I might as
was
well
this
spend my
an
time because
assignment, or was this a schedule? Like I've been saying for a while, we need to have an actual schedule. Was it like, oh, we got to start at 3? If it was, oh, we got to start at 3, we make it happen. That wasn't the case.
no, I said we should start at 1 in the message, and then everyone pulled up at whatever time because that's how it took.
So
but,
then
but at the same time, it's like you weren't thinking that we were sitting down here waiting for the podcast. You guys were just doing what which is fine. It's what you're doing. But you have to understand that down here we're waiting for you guys. But it's not going through, and then Bree goes up. It didn't go through your head. Oh,
yeah,
they're
but
ready.
that's not. But that's a communication issue.
So not to like because I don't want to jump in the middle here, but
Jump in.
you guys scare me a little bit.
Of course.
But I will say, like, when I came in, my mindset was even if I know, okay, it's after 1 o'clock, right? We got here like 1:20. I know, okay, Ryan said that he'd like to edit it and post it, and he wants to post it by tomorrow. So as soon as I come in here, I'm in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to go straight to the podcast room and be ready. Because even if I know he mentioned 1, it's a little after 1, that gives me more of a reason to be like, all right, let's go ahead and get it done. Because it's after the original time he stated. I
agree. The thing is that I say, and I do really feel like you do sometimes have a communication issue, because I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's just analyzation, and you could throw the stone right back at me. But like there's days where Ryan 2 days before you'll be like, oh, we're doing the podcast this day, and then the day of the podcast, I'm like, oh, did you talk to Calvin or Eddie if they're coming? And you're like, no. And I'm like, well, you should text them and be like, are you guys coming? He's like, no, I'm just gonna see if they pull up. I'm like, why? Like, why not just be like, hey, are you guys coming? Like, why not do that? But you're like, oh, I want to see if they just pull up like we already established. But why do that? Why make it harder? Make it easier.
It's not harder or easier. It's just. It's
no, because life gets in the way.
What do people take? Because all those days at the podcast, Eddie said, I'm going to come the next day. I don't need, in my mind, if he's not going to come, he should be like, hey, I'm not going to come. Not just not come. Why do I have to reach out to get the information that he already stated? It's the same thing as if you say you're going to do something. If I say I'm going to do something and I don't do it, I either let you know that I'm not doing it, or I don't say anything at all. But in my mind, it's like, if I'm the one that said I'm going to do this, and at the very least, if I'm not going to do it, I might as well reach out. Just like when we were moving into this house. One of the biggest frustrations with them was that they left their stuff here, and they said, I'm going to do it tomorrow, and nothing comes. I'm going to do it tomorrow, and nothing comes. Even if you reach out, nothing, all it is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it tomorrow. So in my mind, it's like, it's just to see where everyone's head's at. How important is everything to everyone? In my mind, is like, if they don't come and don't say anything, it's not as important as the moment to even just be like, hey, this, and that.
The perspective is like, you're here, next person's here. You're looking at this thing, and you have your connection of importance to it, and you're comparing that to their connection of importance to it in relevance to yours. That's not the case.
See, but what he just said was he's trying to figure out where theirs are. And I get that. I will, because I'm kind of agreeing with both sides here in the sense of, like, case in point, if there was a day where, like he said, you called me when you knew we were coming and you're like, hey, bring the drill, I'm going to, at the very least, be like, all right, I need to bring the drill. And between the three of us, one of us are going to do it.
I agree. That probably would have happened.
And I get where you're saying, like, you want to figure out how important it is to
But it's not even, and the thing is, it's like, even today, like, I didn't, like, think about, like, the drill until it was already, like, we're on the way. And I'm like, oh, they're already on the way, whatever.
And that's where I also want to flip it to this side, because it is also a matter of, like I mentioned earlier, it's assignment. And so he still has to, from his perspective, he has how important this very thing is, right? And in his brain, he has to understand how important it is to us. That way he can delegate and assign correctly.
Also, because all those thoughts also were previous. Like, that all happened, like, it's been a few weeks since they haven't shown up or this and that. It was, but now I understand that if Sunday comes or we don't create a new plan, where it was Monday and now Tuesday, we created this plan. If the plan doesn't get created, if Sunday comes, whoever's here is going to be on the podcast. That's it. The podcast has to happen because Wednesday has to come out. We already established that Wednesday at noon every week it has to come out. It's beyond me. It's beyond anyone else. So from that, that's all previous thoughts. So now I understand if they don't say anything on Sunday and we haven't thought of a new plan to do, they're not going to come. I'm going to do a podcast on Sunday night. That's how it is.
I feel like...
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Always Eddie.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's cool.
I was just going to say that this conversation started because the visuals were pleasing. So we should just take a moment to think about that.
Okay, so I would say that going like you're saying that, all right, well, then we need to have a schedule so this conflict doesn't arise again, right? So, and we all know whenever all of us get together, it's a slow walk to anything that we want to actually get done. Maybe not slow, maybe like a jog. But we're never...
I feel like when Kedah and I are involved, it's pretty timely.
Yeah, that is true. Which I wish you guys got involved more often because of that.
Maybe that's the solution. Regardless, I feel like we need a tentative schedule then. If we need that. So like hard start time.
I bought a freaking schedule book. Go ahead.
Hard start time. Like, so
But everything always
everyone meet
changes.
up.
Technically, it's not Sunday.
Right, it's not Sunday. You're
So
right.
in my mind, it's like, so
Well, go
it
ahead.
always changes, but collectively, if everyone's on the same, like, okay.
Let him
if I
finish his
said-
idea. Let him
okay.
finish his idea. Because you got cut off 3 times.
I know. I'm like, I'm afraid to speak again before I get cut off.
No, go ahead.
It's like, all right, so we got here at 1, right?
I'm listening. Don't worry about them. I'm listening.
We got here at 1, right? And we all, like, me and you were playing basketball for a bit. After a minute, like, they weren't here yet. We went upstairs. You started showing me the programming and stuff like that. If they, like, you know, like, I'm not putting this on y'all at all. If they were here at 1 o'clock, like we were all agreed to be here at, right? Then we probably would have hopped right into it.
I disagree.
See,
Hold on, let me finish. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you yourself said that when you first came in here, that you were ready. You came in the room, you were ready to go.
Right.
We all got on that mindset. Jason and I were upstairs focusing on something else. We could have hopped on your wavelength. If we were in this room, we could have got this done a lot quicker.
Why? But
it wouldn't
see,
have
like,
been 2 hours.
But you
Let
could
me
have also
finish.
taken.
Let me
Okay.
finish. Moving on from that, right? Calvin came upstairs, joined our vibe for a second, tapped into what we were doing, tapped into what he wanted to do in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we all kind of came in and went off into our own little B-story missions, right? You 3 are all here ready to go. All 3 of y'all were ready to go. As soon as they came in the room, y'all 3 were pretty much ready to start.
Mm-hmm.
You said that from the jump.
Yeah.
So like if that's how we want to go about it, that's fine. But we have to be stricter about how our time.
I'm honestly, my only thing
If
is
we're
that
cool-
Bree came up and then 30 minutes. It takes like 30, 40 before you guys register. Like, oh, until Keita
What
calls
do you
Jason.
expect? What do you think happened?
No. All right.
You guys were still talking about whatever, which is fine.
This
Like, that's fine.
Wait,
But
do you
instead
think
of
Bree walked up and was like, "Hey, we need to go down right now," we're like, "No, that didn't happen." Like,
no, but you said,
this
okay,
is-
yeah, we'll come. But then until Keita calls you, now in your brain, oh, I gotta go now. But when
So-
Bree came up, it wasn't that same
because
thing.
Bree didn't
But
tell us this is what we need to do.
This is
So
what I was.
What'd you say when you went up there?
She said, "Are y'all ready to do a
I'm
ready to do the
podcast?"
podcast.
But at the same time,
And
that was the
but you
first
guys
time I
said
saw
yes.
Bree. So at the same time, for me, it's also a greeting. This is the first time I see Bree walking in the door. So for her, it's like, "You guys ready to do?" It's like, "Hey, we're here for the podcast. Y'all ready to do the podcast?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we are."
This is what I was trying to finish up with earlier too, and I think this is really the core root of the problem. Is just like we've addressed already, we all came in with different mindsets into how we were gonna attack this, and like you said, we kind of split in our B story. In my head, that's what we always do. I was not going to wear this for the podcast. I even said it. I had to change the clothes. I decided not to change. Because in my head, just like last time where you're like, all right, well, let's warm up. Let's play football. We usually have some sense of like breaking in.
Yeah.
Then we
But
hop in.
And which I
and we
like
go.
to do that because
Now-
it's more like
now-
casual.
Today is a different circumstance because we came with a topic that we haven't even addressed yet.
And a
And so
time.
in the sense of what we're doing now is what we did beforehand. That's what I'm getting to. It's because we all come in with different, and so that's why I do agree it's a communication error, but I think it's a communication error on all aspects.
I
Because as
I
much
agree.
as Ryan is 1,000% correct, we could have sat upstairs and
I
been
just
like,
don't
hey,
agree with the approach.
we
Like,
could have sat upstairs and it would have been just as easy for Ryan to have come up and been like, all right, we're going. For any of them to have come up and been like, except for the one with the baby in her arms. Any of them to wait, because I'm trying to wrap it up so we can move on. So yes, so I'm trying to,
Let him finish his
As
thought. Let him
easily
finish
as
his
the
thought,
couples
and then you can
podcast.
get
as
in.
easy as it was for any of you to do it, and you
Right.
did
Gay
it.
friendship.
However, and here's where I'm tying it in, if I can get there. When she came up and I took my headphone off, she was like, "Are you ready?" I said, "I'm ready, but you got to talk to them. When they're done with their thing, I'm in this because y'all were in that." And so that was our 3 mindsets, right? So when she came up and she went back down, typically,
but none of you are ready. Then we're never gonna be ready.
typically, that entire time I was sitting up there waiting on Keita's phone call because that's how it goes. If you go back down and there's no further communication to be like, all right, no, we're literally waiting on you, because it didn't feel like we're waiting on you. That's what Jason was trying to get across. Now, to the same exact extent, as happy as I am for you doing that, and as easy as it could have been for y'all, it was just as easy for us to be like, hey, this is the point we're trying to get to finish. And that's why I say it's a communication error on all parts.
What do you
It's
mean?
not
The
on
point
them.
we're trying to get to, like, the podcast is the point?
No, because the point of today is the podcast. That was the tentative schedule. for us to be in our B story and not A story, it's on us to be like, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my beat. You guys knew what you had to talk about. So it's on us equally, if not a little bit more, because we're choosing to branch off, to come down and be like, hey, when do you guys think you'll actually be ready to sit down and go? Because I can reach that time frame. I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. I'm trying to communicate to Eddie, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to add this to my beat because I heard it. This is my goal. This is why I'm in my B story. I know this is A story, because then it's also, now they're not just sitting waiting. They can choose B story because now we've changed that tentative schedule to, okay, well, you're working on that. We can go do this. We'll, boom. And now we're in here at the agreed time. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's understood. That's why I say it's a communication part on all aspects. And why I wanted to wrap it up like this too is to tie it into parenting. That goes right into it. It's a communication aspect on all parts. As much as I have to teach my son to talk to me to figure out what he wants, I have to make sure I'm talking to him, talking to her. Because if we're not all understood, then when we go to teach him how to read, if she's teaching sight reading and I'm teaching letter, he's going to be more confused. Yeah. Because now he's trying to do both and it's throwing him off. Yeah. It's every single aspect. And so just like I said, within the podcast we were doing it. We've been doing it for however long we've been recording. Before the podcast, we did it. Before we drove over here, we were doing it. Because there's not that sense of everybody needs to exactly know where each other are. The only way you get that is communication.
And this is what I'll say, like, a couple of things. Yeah, like, I 100% agree. I just, in the setting up of the podcast, like you were saying before, I don't know if it was, I think it was off camera. It's like, oh, I'm not going to set anyone else's stuff up anymore. I feel like, and not a shot, but that viewpoint is not a good viewpoint, because I don't look at the yellow, the green, I don't even know what color it is, and the orange as purple. That's yours, because I don't pay attention to that.
You don't care about his color?
No, I don't, because it's not relevant. It doesn't matter, because I don't look at it like, if someone asked me to set up everyone's thing, I'll probably get Ryan's right away, actually, knowing that it's purple. But I wouldn't know which one's yours, because it doesn't matter. You're going to set it up because we're all sitting down here to do a podcast. This isn't my mic. Yeah, it's my mic because I use it every time, but it's not my mic. It's the mic
not
for
the individual
podcast.
mics, it's the act. Like, also,
but that's the point.
There's been multiple times where you didn't set up your mic.
Because I was doing other shit.
You know,
and I'm not sitting around saying like, oh, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm doing other shit. There's other things going on. Yeah, I look at it like this. Like, if this house is a fish tank, the moment you walk in the door is the fish being dropped in the fish tank. If you want everyone to pull up to your spot, throw the fish food down, and everyone will come. But you can't sit there and be like, oh, why isn't everybody over here when there's no fish food? There's nothing that brought us down here in the moment. We were doing something. On the side note of it, to go into the thing of like going from Calvin's, like, oh, I asked you to do this. I've been talking to Eddie for about a week about the data for the thing, and what I've needed out of him for a week, I haven't got any other days except for today. And I knew, because I knew in that moment I need to sit down next to him, and that's how I'm going to get my information. But I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because I'm waiting for Eddie. I'm not going to feel the type of way because I don't have Eddie's full attention. I called Eddie, I think last night, in the morning and at night, and he didn't answer or tell me that he didn't answer. And I don't give a fuck at all.
We a bad friend.
So,
but hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. I don't care at all. I didn't feel any type of way at all because I understand that life gets in the way and he's probably doing shit. Because if he was free, he would answer it. And if I was free, I would answer. So I literally don't care at all. I didn't care at all. I'm like, oh, I'll get him when I get him. And because he didn't answer my text, I texted him, yo, when can I get you? What I say? When can I get you over here so we can do the thing? And he said, oh, tomorrow at the podcast. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then so it's like, this is the objective I need from Eddie. Same thing what I said for Calvin. I'm gonna need someone to run through the game and find all the problems. When it's finally ready and it's ready for him to find all the problems, if I just send it to him, I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for him to get back to me. It could be a fucking 3 months. But if I say, Calvin, I need you over here right now to do this, fish food. I need you. Can you come help me right now? He'll come. Or Tuesday, I need you Tuesday. And I text him Tuesday, yo, you still coming? I call him fucking Monday night. And I'm not tripping if you can't because life gets in the way. Like, your 1 o'clock deadline, I'm laying down with the baby trying to keep him asleep.
It's not the one, but you made the statement.
I had such a funny
that
joke.
What did Eddie say though? Eddie came tomorrow at the podcast. So, and knowing that this is the original idea, in my mind, it's like, I can do the pie at any moment. I'm whatever, but the baby's here. The only reason why I'm saying this, kid was like, oh, we should do the podcast before the baby, because the baby's in a relaxed state. But Bree came up.
We didn't hear that though.
Bree came
We
up.
didn't hear, hey,
So,
the baby's relaxing right now. We should do the podcast.
but
now.
when Bree came up, it's like, hey, are you guys ready to do the
It's
podcast?
not the same.
And you guys say
Can I
yes,
ask why
but then
is
you
it
don't
not
come.
the
It's
same?
not.
If the answer is yes, you're ready, why would you not come down?
Because
That doesn't mean that everyone else
I
is
am-
already.
I'm obviously not gonna come
Already doing
upstairs and ask you if you're ready.
but
There's been
If
so
there's
many
not a-
times, though, in my opinion, for sure. There's been
That
so many
I've
times,
come and asked you if you're ready for something,
with
and I have
multiple
not been
people,
ready on the other
multiple-
end.
We're all of us, honestly.
the majority of the time, I am waiting on a
And
let's
my
go.
joke was that you
That's the
texted Eddie last night. This was already plan failed because Eddie said, "Yeah, during that podcast that you guys could talk about it."
Podcast day, like tomorrow.
Yeah, during
No,
the day.
I know what you meant, but it was just so funny
Yeah.
in my head because we're still
But
talking about this.
it's the aspect, and that's what this is what I was saying earlier about the communication aspect, because it's both the understanding of like we are going now, and the understanding of we are trying to get done.
Yeah,
Because
it's a
like you
difference.
said, to us it was more important in the moment.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
me, the second I was en route here, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my beat. So in my brain, I'm like, I am adamant that before I leave this house, I'm going to do it, and I'm still not done. But out of respect for this, I've paused. Yes, that could have happened that first time in the 30 minutes, and like I said, my response to Bree was, "We'll talk to them," because in my brain, it's like, and you have said several times, it's about wanting to be here, wanting to do it. I didn't want to be doing it while I'm sitting here focusing on when are we done, so I can go
Yeah, that's
do my
cool.
beat.
Yeah.
But then the answer is, nah, we're not. That's the answer, right?
But to the
Yeah.
same
Versus,
extent,
like, waiting.
since in that exact moment when she came and asked, I literally I took a minute and I was like, you know what, I can stop here, because I'd gotten down.
And on the way out, when
The
when I walked back to the room, I thought Eddie was in there. He was already gone. I see Calvis on the computer. I'm like, I give him the tap. He's got the headphones on, doing something. I'm like, yo, are you coming? I didn't just look at him and walk out. I looked at him and said, yo, are you coming? Giving him that, like, you're the last one now.
Yeah, and once I knew that, I was
But
like,
we
oh
didn't
crap,
just
'cause I
walk in
didn't
the
even
room
know
and look at you
were
guys and turn around.
But
and
it's
say,
a
yeah.
difference.
No,
And not
but-
to nitpick, but what Bree said, it wasn't the, like, if Bree said, hey, we're starting the podcast. If you're not down in 10 minutes, the door's closed, you're not in it.
Because-
Then we would have been there in
and,
10
uh,
minutes.
Well, if she
But
says,
that-
"Are you
Well,
ready?" and you say
I'll
yes,
say-
why didn't you just say no?
But
like
I'll
I
say
said, the "Are you ready?" I was the first time I seen her. So if you're going to a fucking sports game and you're playing football and you show up and you see your teammate for the first time, be like, "Yo, you ready for the game?" Be like, "Yeah." That doesn't mean the game's gonna start right there. That means, "Are you ready for the game?" And it's nitpicking, but it's real.
and it is also coming from Bree. Bree's very direct most of the time.
Yeah.
And so in
Bree
a
has
moment,
no problem calling you out at any point
in a
in time.
moment like that, I'm
As a-
expecting her. Like if it
Bree
was,
defender.
I'm
That's what I'm
expecting.
saying. It's like, all right, well, let's go do it right now. That's what I would expect from you.
I'm
honestly.
expecting the now.
No, it's not
and
on Bree
I-
at all. I don't think
and
it
it
is.
It's
hit
not
me-
on you. It's on
no,
us.
No, because
for that part of it.
it hit me when you were talking this last time, because I was like, if you had come up and been like, "Yo, are y'all ready?" I would have gotten up.
Yeah. But you
Because
came up,
coming
looked what
from
we were doing,
you-
and you fucking left.
Coming from you, I know
No,
that
I didn't.
means
I came up, listened to the Pokemon thing. I was like, okay, they're gonna start going on this. Cool. I came downstairs to see where they were at. They were chatting about whatever. I hopped in their conversation because I was like, okay, this is more of the podcast energy. Let me just see what they're going on here. Once that conversation stalled, Kedah said we should probably start the podcast so that while the baby is relaxed. Bree said, okay, cool, I'll go get the boys. She goes up. In my mind, what I start doing, I come upstairs too.
So it's
Bree
Bree's
said,
fault.
I come upstairs. I'm like, okay, I see them.
It's clear.
I see them
It wasn't.
still working.
Have you guys ever played?
Then Bree says, "Hey, do you want to show me how to set up the mics while they're still doing this?" I said, "Okay, let's go do that." And then I showed her the song that I wanted to show her. So I was still doing, and then I was like, then I just started setting up the mics. That's how it is. But then in my mind, if y'all say y'all are ready, but then you're not ready, it's like, okay,
we
it's the
were
same
ready.
thing as if like, yo, can you do something for me? And you say
So-
yes, but then it doesn't happen. It's the same thing. It's like just say nah.
I want to say something here. No, I want to say
That's
something.
not
I want to say
cut and
something.
You
No, because Bree's the problem, so Bree would like to speak. Okay? Multiple things. I'm taking it back because
Dissecting this thing.
I wanted to speak to him. Number one.
Not the mean finger point.
Number one, because I get grievances
Doesn't even get a
now.
name, just
I've
him,
got
motherfucker.
grievances.
Oh, she's got grievances. Well, I
I've
got
got
interrupted.
grievances.
I didn't get to finish my initial thought. So go ahead
You
and finish.
did
your
finish
thought.
your initial
I
thought.
did not.
You said plenty.
I did not. I got cut off like 6 times before I could even say
I
one
tried to help
word.
you. Man.
So Eddie's saying, which like honestly, this is not really a shot at you. It's just it offended me a little bit. Okay. Because, and to bring this into relationships, I feel like this happens a lot to kind of
Trying to tie into
This
our
is a
theme
good
of the
intro.
day.
To
tie
This is a great-
into relationship
It's a great
is
episode.
it's like okay, dishes, taking the trash out, mopping, sweeping. All of those things exist whether the woman or the man is doing it, whether you're single or you're in a relationship, right? You have to get those things done.
Right.
That's the podcast. The podcast is getting done. Doesn't matter if it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. It's getting done, right? Someone has to set it up, okay?
I don't like to
But-
think of it as a chore though, but yes.
It's not a chore, but it's something that happens those things aren't even chores because it has to happen. That is just a part of life. The podcast is a part of our life, right? It's gonna happen. That's like those things. It's gonna happen regardless. Yeah, maintenance, sure. Okay? But a lot of times, okay, it falls on to one person to get those done. Okay? Let's say Ryan. I have a million times watched Ryan set these things up, right? Or set the podcast up. Like, I really do feel like if it wasn't for Ryan, 90% of what has happened in the podcast would not have happened up until this point. I think we can all agree on that,
sure.
right? So automatically that is a huge weight on his shoulders. Whether it is, setting that soundboard up, setting that up, setting all this up, putting the TV up there, whatever it is, like half of that would not have happened without him many, many times. Okay. So it's just like, so if you do the dishes so many times and your partner hasn't offered to do it, but then they do it that one time and they're like, oh, aren't you so thankful that I did this that one time? No, it kind of is though.
No,
It kind of is though. No,
this is
no,
a
because let me
conversation
finish.
we've
No,
had
because let me
before,
finish.
too.
Let me finish.
Mike.
Okay, so it's like,
This is so geek.
so it's like you guys want Ryan to come up there and be like, you guys need to
Yes,
get down
'cause
here
it's
and you
important
need
to
to
him.
do
I
it
don't
now.
care if it's Ryan.
But
Anyone. It could be anyone.
or who? Yeah, exactly. But it could be anyone. But it's like, why did you not do it? Why did you not do it? You guys were here first, right? Why did y'all have to wait on us to do it? Why would you not set the vibe and do it?
Yeah,
and
'cause
Ryan understand what
in
she's saying, but
tune.
it
It is similar to the dishes because it's like instead of having to ask your partner, you just want them to take
just
the
do it.
initiative to do
but
it.
this isn't a matter of the one time, and this is a debate I get into a lot because it's the same thing we were talking about. It's a matter of priority, right? So for me, I have a certain level of when the dishes hit that point. All right, yeah, I'm gonna do it. For you, you want a clean sink. It is different when
No, it's
when
actually
the dishes.
opposite. I want the clean sink.
Actually,
It's
Jason
never
does the
But
dishes
you
a lot.
know, and so even then, that's a perfect
Yeah.
example, right? Because
that's
it's a difference in what you want to see and what that priority is. I don't mind a couple dishes in the sink, and so like for me, I'm going to clean the sink every time the sink is empty. However, if there's a couple dishes, all right, cool. I'm gonna make a full load. Yes, I don't just step up and do them, even when they do get full sometimes, because it's not that high on my priority list. However, to the same extent, like I've said about us coming down and elaborating on what we were doing and how we felt, and when we'd actually fully be ready to showroom sit down, it's on me to also be like, all right, well, they are reaching the point where she's not gonna like them. Let me go ahead and do them. Yeah, I
So-
get you want me to just step out and do that.
I think I have
It's
less.
also
I have less beef with you in this instance because I think at least you're sitting here and you're like.
that's
But
what
I mean,
it's
like,
on.
I know you guys are admitting like
It's on all parties.
it's on all of us, but the statement that if we
Are
had
you
been
okay?
here at the same time really irked
Okay,
me.
Okay,
then
but
don't
I don't
Because
think
it's
you
like,
understood
why-
what I was saying.
No, but I do, because you're saying like we would have all been on the same vibe because we would have walked in and we could have sat in this and it could have been us. But it's like I was able to walk in here and say, okay, I'm in this vibe. Why? Just because
See,
you
To be
were here
fair,
first,
Because
though-
I had
why
already
To
you
be
been here
fair,
for
though,
30
hold on.
minutes.
When
But
Eddie,
why when
Well,
you
let me
came
say
in-
this.
Hold on,
real
hold on.
quick.
Why
Let me say
didn't you
this.
come in and set up the podcast? Why was your first thought to go upstairs? If we knew the
'Cause
podcast
that's
was
not
Because the
usually what we
podcast, we has stated before that everyone needs to be here for the podcast to be set up. Because this door has to be closed, this table has to be set up a certain way, the chairs have to be set up a certain way. So when we start setting up the room full, and I agree with you, we could have got the mics on the table like Ryan did. You know what I'm saying? There's things that we could have done. 100%. I could have took initiative and I could have been set up all the mics and did everything I needed to do to make sure that I knew that at least when they got here, I did what I needed to do. All I gotta do is sit my butt in the chair and I'm ready.
Because
to go.
I sent a text message at 1:04. It's not like
And I'm
it
not,
was
like I said, I wasn't
insane.
upset with you. And like I'm not blaming you. But from my perspective, right, I've already been here for 30 minutes. Ryan and I were shooting hoops. Jason and I have been talking about this thing for a week. I don't know when you guys are going to get here. By the time you shot that text message, we're already upstairs on the computer.
And to be fair, in a very literal sense, like I said, I was with the baby, keeping him asleep. He woke up a little bit after that, and Kedah hadn't fully cleaned up all her tattoo stuff anyway. So even if you guys all walked in at the same time as Eddie, it literally wouldn't have been able to be done in that moment. Like, literally wouldn't have been able to.
It's not, at the end of the day, my thing is, like, it's not about, like, the time. Like, no one's a stickler for 1:05. We got to be recording. Because the conversation doesn't happen like that. Conversation happens naturally. Everyone had to go do what they had to do for even this conversation to happen. However, what you guys are talking about is something that doesn't end in an hour. This is hours and hours and hours of work that's going to take in conversation and multiple ideas bouncing.
Put it down like that.
See, but how it's going to go. And then for you, your difference was, okay, I have this set thing I want to do. Okay, cool. So, but when the moment comes, when Bree, I don't know, I wasn't there for what Bree said.
When the moment comes, and that's what I was going to say.
All you had to say was, like,
food.
no, we're not ready yet. We're going to talk for a little longer, and then we'll be ready. Because at that time, I can't say anything to you guys because what can I say? That idea is more important than this one. There's no way for me to say that. It's creation. You're creating something. You guys are creating something. We're all creating something in the moment. It's all happening. And even Calvin's point, for him to even be ready to just speak on the mic and be comfortable, or even before we'll sit outside, we'll smoke. You had a black and mild in your ear. We could have ripped that. However, the different scenarios might have went down. So the only thing I can say is in my mind is, like, I wasn't there from what Bree said to you guys, but in the moment is if she says, are you guys ready, you guys say yes, but then 45 minutes go by, you're not really ready yet. So it's like, then his point is that he just saw her, but then Calvin's point was that he's waiting for you guys, and then we wait 30 minutes, and then when Kedah finally says, then Jason gets moving. That's all I'm saying.
And here's and I was gonna say this about the dishes thing too. I get you don't want. I get.
All right, while there's a laughter, let me just say the one thing about the dishes. My view on dishes is that if you bring it, you should wash it off and put it in the dishwasher. And if the dishwasher is dirty, all the way you run it and you put it in the sink. Or if it's clean, then you take the clean ones out and you put it there. That way, if you cook, you can put stuff in the dishwasher. You don't have to clean right after you cook. You can just come back to it. But instead what happens is dishes pile up, then you cook, then you got this whole thing, and then the one person's got to spend an hour wiping the crust off all the plates, and only to wash them after that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't sign up to be. I already do this in a certain way as my job. I don't need to be doing that.
I still think it's two things.
But it takes everyone for that cycle to go.
But do you want to say, I'm sorry that I offended you, Bray? I was not intending to do that.
I forgive you, and I apologize for my indirectness.
Look, I just want to say two things, and I'll try to be as non-confrontational as possible so that it goes over smoothly. One, when it comes to, like, the dishes shit and whatever, it's like it goes in the first thing. You have to know who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with NPCs, like people who you call NPCs.
You call me an NPC,
bro?
No, I don't think anyone's the contrary.
Hold on, wait. Let me finish.
Speaking the contrary.
When you're dealing with NPCs, like people who don't have that level of backbone or guidance or individual path, you can push and they'll go, and that's just what it is. But when you're dealing with people who have their own fucking missions, we're all characters, then, like, You have to there's a moment where you realize that you're not the main character at this point. In their story, you're not. And the thing about it is, like, in that moment where we break off and Calvin's doing the music thing, he's the main character in his story and we're the background. You're the background, it's a podcast. And when you're the moment where you realize, like, in Calvin's moment where he's sitting doing the beat, when I'm looking at him at the thing and I'm watching him dragging the lines, like, getting his precision, I'm the background character to his story. I'm not the fucking main character right there. So me saying, yo, are you coming? I'm the fucking side character trying to help him on the journey.
But I never said you guys had to come in each moment.
The point is, my point is that you have to be, the point is that you have to understand that, and if it makes you feel any type of way, I think that's the problem. Because in reality, you have to understand that there's moments where.
But it wasn't the point that you guys were doing other things. That's not the point. His point. It doesn't matter that we started at 3 verse 1. My point is that when the question got asked, and it's like, is this the communication back? It's not the true answer. That's not true. We're not ready. Okay, fine. Then I can go. I can do something else. But instead of waiting or setting up and then waiting, then it's like. But then when I do, I found something else.
Because right now to do the podcast.
Because we were ready for the call to arms, he didn't make it. That's what happened.
And we needed the fish food, like I said.
That's the call to arms. It's the aspect of, hey, can you do dishes? Right? Because we were ready to do them, we had the dish gloves on. You're not going to say, go do dishes. But if I'm waiting, if I knew you were eating food, right? And I have my dish gloves on. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to wait on them to finish eating so I can have that dish. Now it's a misunderstood timing because my timing is based on you, but you don't know it. And so because you knew we were waiting on a call to arms, you knew we were ready for the podcast because we said we were ready.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be because you guys. Because also I'm not the person that I can't say which is more important.
And that's what I'm. If in the moment after we all were like, yeah, we're ready, Bree had been like, all right, let's go. We'd been like, all right, cool. And that
she
little
did,
bit.
she said
to call Kat because there have been many times where I've looked at you specifically and been like, let's do this thing, and you've looked at me and been like.
But what was my answer to you when you asked me?
You said, I'll come whenever they're ready.
No, I said go talk to them because I didn't even know if you had already talked to them. And so if you had, because did you talk to them or me first?
I talked to you first. So did you even check back with them to see?
No, because I thought you were going to come back to me.
Okay,
I
hold on.
locked back
I
into
got
what I
something
was
to say.
doing. I made myself
Last
the
night-
main character once again. And so in my head, I'm waiting on side character to let me know what I'm doing is wrong. When he tapped on my shoulder, I saved, I uploaded it to my phone, and I came down here immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that was going to be. So I was waiting on the follow-up. So in my head, up until we were on the podcast, I didn't know they said they were ready. Just like, and you said, if I had known they also said yes, because my yes was dependent on theirs. Their yes, or your yes was dependent on theirs, but it's not their fault. Because to the same extent, they were locked into what they were doing. In their head, their yes was dependent on a call to arms. And so since we're all waiting on each other and nobody actually pushed, like you said, you just said a couple of times now that you can't say that this is more important than that. It is. It full-fledged is. That's why we're upset right now. It full-fledged is. Because this is everybody's time. That is just their time. That is just my time. Like you said, those are our stories. We can do that when we're not all doing this. This is everybody's time. And so I am very sorry for disrespecting y'all's time because you were ready. But in my head, like I said, I'm waiting on...
I don't think it's disrespect because how would we have known? We didn't know.
In my case, it was. In my specific case, not in y'all's. That's why I said I was waiting on you. It's not on y'all, though.
Yeah. And
because I could have very easily been y'all's yes. But I made you my yes. So now we're always going to be at a standstill. We're always going to be on a stagnant.
And I think I can take some responsibility because in my head, if someone asked me, like I went by what I understand. I didn't really think about, okay, what are they going to understand? Because if somebody asks me, like, are you ready to do this thing? And then walks out after I say yes, to me that signals, okay, that's what we're going to go do.
See,
like, I'm not going to ask, like, and so that's what makes sense in my
And
opinion.
if I ask somebody, hey, are you ready? I usually follow up with, all right, bet, I'll come get you. Or, all right, bet, let's go.
I guess it was context because I didn't know that you guys were actually ready.
And
the only reason why I set up the mics is because Bree stated, like, while we wait for them to come downstairs, you wanted to show me how to set up the mics. So I was like, okay, I was like, all right.
And that's what I mean. But there, so in your head, there was the call to arm. There was the push.
Yeah.
So you're like getting suited up. You're in your battle armor. We're still checking out the shop.
I just think this
because we didn't know we were walking out
I guess
in that moment.
It's partly our fault because it goes two ways. It's know who you're dealing with. So on our side, we should know, oh, Ryan has like this way that he's going, so we should try to make it as streamlined as possible because he is the one spearheading this thing, and we're not trying to be lagging tails. We're trying to be fucking bullets moving along with it. So that's us shouldn't be knowing who we're dealing with. And then on your side, knowing who you're dealing with is like, bro, like you spill the fish in the tank, they're going. And you have to know that. So for you to not...
Yeah, but also that's why I didn't... Oh, right when they got here and Calvin upstairs, instead of saying, guys, let's talk about this later, let's go do the podcast, but why not? Because
that would have been better than you guys not saying it.
No, because you guys started the conversation, so I give my implementation. Okay, this is my opinion on the game right now. You guys are having this conversation. How can I say it? This moment might lead to the next thing.
You wait for the break and you say, hey.
But then
he did. The first time Bree went upstairs, he thought there was fish food. That's what I'm saying. That's why I understand.
I also I gave you my point, and then I left, because I was like, okay, this is what they're doing. Let me go see if they're ready before I tell you to stop what you're doing. Because if I tell you to stop what you're doing and they're just not ready, then you're going to waste whatever moments you guys are getting into now, the 39 extra spots or whatever you might get to. On the other flip side is, okay, I came downstairs. So I was like, and I left that conversation. So now I'm out of that. I was in it. Now I'm out of it. Now Bree comes upstairs. So I'm like, so I just walk upstairs just to see like what happened. And then it sounded like she like told you guys like whatever. So and then she was like, oh, while we wait for them to come downstairs, let's do the mic. So I was like, okay, in my mind, like everything's already happened. Like I'm just like, okay, shit. She telling them, all right, let's go. Here, listen to this song. That way because in my mind, all I want to do is I want to show Bree this song before we start. So I want to show her that song. This is the moment for me to show her that song.
When Bree went up, did you ask Bree to go up and get us?
No, Kedah said that we should start the podcast while the baby's calm, and Bree said, okay, I'll go get the boys.
Okay, so then it's
so
Bree's
my mind,
fault.
I was like, all right.
Because it is a communication error because...
Yeah.
Hold on, to be fair. And I'll let you respond because I just called you out.
But also, what do you think when me and Bree come upstairs and we leave? What do you think that is, though? Like, what else would that
Coming
be?
and checking on what everyone's doing.
See, I didn't
To
know
see if we're ready.
were even upstairs.
Yeah, because you're in the music. I'm not going to bother you, though. Because she
But
already
this is
did.
like,
See,
it's
but
like
that-
we
you
have
should've-
all, but we
you
have
she
all.
already did.
Here's my thing. It's like for a lack of a better word, it's like you want to be babied almost. It's like because we have all the makings. And I didn't mean that
I don't want to
so
be baby.
rude.
I want to be.
I didn't mean
Yeah,
that
I
so
disagree
rudely.
completely.
But it's like,
adulted.
but we have all the makings for the podcast, right? 3 of us are downstairs. Okay, that's known. There's 3 of
See,
us.
but I don't know that.
You do know 3 of us are
No,
downstairs
because I
because when
didn't
you
know
look
Ryan
around the
came
room,
upstairs.
so then where would he have been if you didn't know he
In
came
his
upstairs?
room.
Outside.
Amber and Carter. Like
The thing is like, I
So
honestly.
hold on,
here.
let me finish my sentence, and then
I'm not
I'll
worried
let.
about
I want to
So-
talk next.
So Eddie's next.
Talking stick?
I'm saying okay. We said 1 o'clock, right? Because that's the thing that like I'm like that's kind of hard for me. Like, and I feel like you guys do this a lot because you guys will set a time, and this is everybody, and then you guys will not have done the podcast for 5 hours after set time.
Yeah, the time never
And
works out.
it never does. It never does. And a lot of times it's by choice. It's because we want to do this, you know. So it's not like that bad. But it's like a time was set. Let's do 1 o'clock, right? Okay, we were a little late. But I texted at 1 o'clock, like letting you guys know, like, hey, we're gonna be late, but we're coming in. You know, like we stopped, we got coffee, whatever. And so then, like in my head, it's 30 minutes after, okay, and then I come upstairs and ask if you're ready. Where's the, like, why do I have to be the one with the urgency? Why can you not, like,
because
why
you're
cannot
the
all
one
of that
that's-
go together
you're
and
the
make
one
sense?
that's
That
ready
it's like,
to go fight.
Because
To be
this
fair, I
is
did
it. This
say
is
1
it.
o'clock because I knew it
This
would
is-
start
this
at
is
like
why.
3, but...
I'm sorry, honey.
To answer home.
wait, hold on.
So from my
Eddie
understanding,
Eddie did
claim
call
the
it.
talking
Eddie called
stick.
it.
I
Eddie
did
called
claim
it.
the talking
Eddie
stick.
did.
So I've been trying to get this out for a minute. Exactly what you said. So we have, and this might just be because you've only been on like a handful of podcasts.
Right.
Out of the 30 podcasts that we've done prior to this, I would say like 26 of them, 25 of them, we've lollygagged or we did something else for the first 2 hours that we were here.
Right.
And so like to me,
I brought a change
and
of clothes for
to me, like that is the expectation when I come
And it's
here.
partly because
for a
a lot of the
podcast.
time I was getting off work. So they would like get there either right after me or right before me, and I'm not gonna get off work and sit down.
But that's what I'm saying. We have all the makings
makings
to do it properly today.
Yes, but that doesn't. I didn't know you weren't.
But I mean, like for me, that's the expectation
See,
for me is that
my
that
point
is what
is-
we do.
There's a kid at the
Yes.
door. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
We should have just set her out a bunch of snacks.
Right.
Your first snack
Well,
is
she-
here.
They would eat it
She
all
would
in
eat
the
it all
first 5
one second,
minutes.
yeah.
Like one.
Yeah, she had
What
candy
time is
too.
it?
Her and Cardi both had
Anyways.
candy.
I think in regards to this situation, I can say, honey, just speaking as your partner, sometimes your time is just sucky. Like, so you're no, because this irritated me the other day in regards to like being on
Just
time.
let me air this out real quick.
Because your dad was coming over and you guys were sleeping and I was taking care of Nahi and I wasn't dressed. And he gets here and I'm like, oh, like your dad's here, wake up. Jason doesn't wake up for another like 15 minutes. And then when he does get up, not only does he take forever to get dressed, he also turns on Fortnite to check the store. And in my head, that type of shit irritates me because I'm like, your dad is just sitting down there waiting after you already discussed time last night as to when he's coming and you're late by 15 minutes of waking up. And then another 15
Imagine
minutes.
being 15 minutes
Another-
late
that's
to your
it.
house.
This is what, but
15
this
minutes of bullshitting.
But to be fair, know who you're dealing with, and I know my dad enough to know that like he's just gonna go. I told Amber to go tell him he can make himself a coffee. So my dad would just chill there, sit on his phone, and he'd wait, and he'd be fine. My dad's not
see-
tripping. If it was like an hour, yeah, it would be like he'd be like, "What the fuck?" But it's 15 minutes. He's not tripping.
But I'm saying
So I know
that's
him
where you,
to be able to do
that's
that.
where you assume people's time frame, and that's what I'm
I
saying.
knew his
It's
time
it-
frame. He said, "I'm coming at this time, and I'm leaving at this time," and that was
you
that.
woke up 30 minutes later.
So I feel
I was
like
tired.
really it's the intention is the problem, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone came in here with, like what Calvin said, with different intentions, and so like
But
we have to make if we in the future note, right? If we have a podcast where we want to be here at a time and start at a certain time, we have to set that as the intention
Right, because
before we
even-
get here.
Well, I
I think
that
Calvin's
the,
point is the best point of the fact that it's everyone's time.
Yeah.
And when it's our 4 time, like we know we can fuck
We-
off here. We
we're
can say
on
this.
right.
We can do this.
And I
But
think-
but recently when like we tried to do this last week, what happened? Keita wasn't ready to do it, so we didn't do it. But it's like okay, it could easily drop like that. So in my mind, it's like while we have these pillars, we gotta whatever because they're only
Because,
here for so long.
like
we can wait till 11 p.m. sit down for 3 hours, and I'll stay up all night and I'll edit it and I'll put it out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what we'll do that. We know if right now the Pokemon idea is way more important than this conversation, then okay, fine. Like go head first on it. Go spend 3 hours doing it. You know what I'm saying? My only thing was that when she went up to go get you guys, my mom she's going to get you, and you guys say she comes back like, oh, they're ready, and then but you're not ready. That's the only thing that was
Yeah.
on.
We were ready, though.
And that's-
I don't like you saying we're not ready.
It's
We were ready.
well, no.
But you didn't
We've
come
talked about
downstairs,
it.
so you
I
weren't.
bring it
Told
up.
her to come downstairs.
She
No,
did.
I bring
she
it.
didn't.
I bring it up on
I'm
the
not gonna go
podcast.
down like that. She fucking did not.
I bring it.
I agree.
It's
okay, Bree.
Field, ready for the game. It's not fucking game time. Are you ready for the fucking game? Yes, I'm ready for the game. Sorry, buddy.
I
the
bring
game's
it.
not game time.
I bring
What
it
the
up on the
fuck?
podcast all the
But
time.
it's not 100%
This is this is
Not
a
fucking
beautiful
about this.
example of intention.
It's okay.
Doesn't intention is not as impactful as perception. We talk about it all the time. That's why I said, yeah, we're ready for a call to arms. She's like, yeah, I gave him a call to arms. Because in your view, 1,000%, like you said, if somebody walks up to you and says, are you ready? You're going to be like, either I'm ready, let's go, or wait.
Well, I would at least be like, yeah, are you?
You remember school when it was Friday or Thursday and you had a test and you'd get to class and be like, yo, you ready for the test? Does that mean the test gets slapped on your desk in that exact moment?
So when
No.
someone
Okay,
asks you
but-
if you're ready
but
to
also,
leave, and
if you
say
know-
yeah, do you wait 30 more minutes?
That's different though. You're leaving. It's going into
I
something,
don't
leaving
see it as
something
different though,
I don't
personally.
see them as different
Because to
either.
be
Like,
ready to do something, yes,
But
I am ready to
also,
do
like,
something.
if
But that's
you're
not
Okay,
taking-
yeah, you're right, but we were
Babe,
ready for it.
But also, if you're like
It just
taking a
wasn't time
test,
to-
you don't wait for
It's
Calvin to fucking answer his first question before you answer yours. Like,
If
start
I
the
didn't
test.
study
on your
for the
own.
test. I
It's a
damn
difference.
sure
Hold
do.
You're okay. I agree with that. Hey, are you ready to leave? But are you ready to leave, and it's time to leave, or completely different? And we got an "Are you ready?"
So,
we
but
didn't
this
get
is what I'm asking. This is what I'm asking. So if Keita comes up to you, right, and let's say this. Let's say
What
this.
was
You're-
your message?
Like,
She called me, and I
No.
I said like what?
No, I called Jason. He didn't answer the phone. He said, "Did you mean to call?" And I said, "Yeah." So he knew
I saw
that
the end of the
shit.
call. I saw my screen flash from like your.
And that was it. I didn't
Contacts,
say
like,
anything
back to
else. He
normal,
just
but-
came.
so let's
No, then you
I
said
got
it's time
it
to go to
like
the
that.
podcast.
let's say okay, you had something planned,
Ones and
right,
zeros,
for
ones and
today.
zeros.
Let's say you had dinner plans, right, and you're like, okay, we've got these dinner plans. We need to leave by 1:00. Between 1:00 and 1:30 to get there.
You
to-
know
I,
I live out
I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you. 1:00 to 1:30. Right. Shush. Shut up.
All I'm saying is you know
I
who you
finish
deal
your
with.
analogy, but I feel like I have a great
And-
rebuttal to it.
I'm already
Already
ready.
ready. I mean, she's not listening.
I'm
He's
sorry.
not
I'm listening.
listening.
I am listening.
And
I am
this is
listening.
why you're
Come in,
I
single.
didn't know what. I
No.
just feel like I know what you're gonna say.
No, okay.
Alright,
Okay,
continue.
you know that
Finish
you
your
need to
thought.
leave by this time to make these important
1
plans
o'clock.
happen. It was stressed that these plans are important in order to continue with your life, right?
Right.
And
I'm not gonna die if we say
at
that.
1:00, Keita says no at 1:30, and you know you need to leave by 1:30. You know this. Keita says, "Are you ready?" and then walks down the stairs. Are you following
Why
her?
did you
Or
walk away?
are you staying on your
Yeah, but
phone
to
for
be
30
fair,
minutes?
I'm the one who's always ready. So
Okay,
did
well
you
then
walk
if you
away?
walked
That's
away,
swear
would
to
you
fucking
expect her?
God, I missed
But
that
if you walk away, you say, "Are you ready?" And she says, "Yeah."
Don't walk
And
away.
shush. If you say you're ready, and she says okay, and you walk down the stairs, and you wait 30 minutes for her,
okay.
like
I'm not gonna wait 30 minutes.
hold on,
Though. That's
hold
my
on,
thing.
hold on.
No, because now I'm triggered. I'm not gonna wait 30 minutes.
Don't say that shit
And
about
this
me,
is
Ricky
what I'm
Bobby.
trying to, like, I'm not gonna wait 30 minutes. Like I said, as much as I could have come down and been like, hey, I'm working on this. Hey, like, give me as much as I could have asked for 30 minutes. Why did you just give me 30 minutes if you didn't want to give me 30 minutes?
Because I
If
don't
you
wanna
say,
sit there
are
and
you
think
ready,
of you.
and you're ready to go, there's a difference between being ready and go. If a gun is locked and if a gun is cocked and ready to go,
Cocked
it's
and
not
locked,
killing somebody till I pull the trigger. If you tell me squeeze the trigger, it's gonna fire. That's the whole point we're trying to get across. That
Tell
I'm
me
not
what to
letting
do!
you-
Even though I don't
No,
agree
my
with
whole
what Calvin's
point-
saying, that was a great analogy.
My whole point
It
is it's not
was,
gonna
but-
kill anybody till you pull the trigger. So if you come up and you say, "Are you ready?" and you walk away, I'm assuming you're not ready for me to follow you because you're not sitting there waiting on me to follow
But
you.
if I waited for a yes and then walked away,
I never said yes.
but they did. That's why I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to these two that said yes.
That's fine, but that's why I said I'm triggered now.
He pulled
because
up to
I'm
the field.
getting
Are you
roped
ready
in.
for the game? Yeah, I'm ready for the game. But
But
the
it's
clock.
not that. It's not that. It's not.
My
it's
whole
not,
point,
are
though,
you ready for the game?
why
That's
didn't
gonna
you
happen
say,
in an
"Let's
hour?
go"?
Are you ready for the thing that was
Did
already
you?
supposed to happen?
All right,
But
all
it's
right,
not
all right.
self-
I'm gonna calm my tone. I wanna get this. I wanna get this right
It's a hot
because
topic.
because all of this is very stemmed on these questions, right? When you came up, did you say "let's go"?
I did not say let's go.
Did you say we're waiting on you?
I did not say we're waiting.
Did you say we're trying to start?
No, I did not say we're trying to start.
So nowhere did you communicate the fact that we want to press record.
There was no sense of urgency in your.
I did not
well,
feel like
technically, there was not.
because
like,
in my
we
head,
did not have
in my
everything
head,
set up to record
yeah,
yet.
1,000%.
Give her
Like
the
we
mic,
came
Ryan,
back
give her
down
the mic.
here. We came back down here and then set it up. Yeah, thank you.
And it,
but,
but
like,
in
I-
my head, I'm like, all right, I'm
I
like,
feel like
Give me that.
but
I still-
I understand your point of view.
I still
I
have to.
under-
I still have to come set up. I still have to come set up my mic.
Right.
I still have to come set up the room.
Right.
I'm thinking we're gonna do this leisurely. We're gonna do this chill because I also had no clue of the state of Nahi. I didn't know Nahi was in here before I walked in. When I walked in, I was playing music.
So
I
here's-
was chilling.
here's my other
and
thing,
then I
though.
went, oh shoot,
How-
different vibe
I
than I thought
have-
it was. So how can I be expected to have a sense of urgency because
Because
the baby's
even-
ready
even
because you're
last
ready
time-
because you're ready because you're ready.
I'm
If
gonna
I
yeah
didn't
no
know-
he because even last time when I did the podcast last time I said to you I said Calvin, let's go in there, let's set it up because these two had already started.
But that
There
gives
was
a
a
sense
call
of
to
urgency.
action. Let's
But
That's
you
a
still
sense of
didn't do it.
urgency.
You looked at me. You
Let
said,
us.
"No, hold on. You still didn't do it." You said, "I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it yet." And you sat here on your phone. And I said, "They're literally in here setting it up." And you literally sat here on your phone. You said, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." And you said, "If you want to do it, you can learn how to do it. You can learn how to do it, and then you can do it." Okay. As
I do
they're
it?
all setting up, I don't even know if you did yours.
Yeah.
Okay, later on. But that's what I'm saying. Like I
But it's
have
because-
given you that
I
call to
know-
action before. I
and
have done all of that
no,
before. and it's-
no, because Jason was upstairs. And we're typically waiting on Jason. I understand how this works.
That's Jason's fault.
Yes,
I know
we
who
do
I'm dealing
typically
with.
wait on Jason,
I
that
knew
is
who I
true.
was dealing with. So I'm not going to start setting mine up because I also know I've done it more times than Jason. And I'm a little bit
Shots.
faster than him. So I do not
Shots
start
again.
setting mine
When
up.
to
Double
into that,
homicide.
When I look at when you look up and see I'm not ready, I look down to see if your shit's set up, and if it's not, I'm like, nah.
I knew this is the cycle. This is the toxic
Yeah,
cycle. you
1,000%.
guys.
And that's why we typically wait. You know who you're dealing with. That's my point, though. You know, if I say I'm ready, it's because at any given moment, 9 times out of 10, if you're like, yo, let's do this.
But
thing,
if I also give you the call to action, you also don't do it on my time. You do it when you want to do it. So like, where's the winning here? Why do you want me to give you a call to
because
action if 9 times out of 10 you
anytime
don't
give
listen
me
to my
a
call to action
to
anyway?
do it on your time, I do it
You know
on
what
your
you
time.
have to
You
do?
don't though.
You're
I
like-
did it last time.
Bree,
I did last time,
You have
and
to
you
call
still
the bluff.
said
You
no.
have to call the bluff. You have to be like, hey, I'm
Bro,
good.
if I call
And I
his
did.
bluff,
The
he
second we were sitting-
changes it. He
The
switches
second-
up, so I never know what to call.
She has to
I'm
call
so
the action
toxic.
and the bluff.
Because we, I sat
That
there,
he can say
I
that-
went,
he can justify it.
We
He
went
can
through that
justify
whole-
it.
I'm just
Like I
waiting
said,
to give my
Jason-
rebuttal.
Jason was upstairs. We went through that whole thing. I screwed with you for for a minute. Once we were done, I set it up. And yeah, it was later than theirs. They had already had theirs up, but it was because we were doing that whole stick while they were setting theirs up.
I didn't think
Once
it
we
was a
were
joke.
done
I
with
thought
the
it was
stick,
freaking
I set it
serious.
up though. That's my point. Once we were done with the stick, I set it up.
So then we're dealing with the same thing here today.
No,
I came
because it
upstairs
wasn't-
and I said, let's do it.
And I will say,
So you're saying it's all a bit. This whole conversation is a bit.
I stopped myself. I stopped
you did
myself.
it. If you
There's
said
no
let's
sense
do
of
this,
urgency.
we would have came down. We would have been there.
No, because you didn't even do it last week.
If you said no, I
You're
did do it
saying
last-
if you did this,
Because
then I
it's
would have done
also-
it. But I did
it's
it
also-
last week,
My
and you
point
didn't
that
do
I
it.
said in rebuttal to that was Jason was upstairs.
Step one.
Jason
No,
was
but
upstairs.
it's all
I was
contingent
already in
about
the
other
room.
things. It's all about other
Yes,
things. You
because
keep
I
saying this needs to
understand-
be done, and this needs to be done, and this needs to be
Because
done.
I've done
You would
20
have
of
found
these,
you would
so
have found
I
a reason
understand
today
the
to
premise.
sit at you. You would have
I'm
found
the
a
I understand
moderator
how we
for
do
this
it.
is crazy.
I love
We're
it.
moderating
So
this.
much fun.
Okay.
I understand
I just
how
wanna-
this goes.
I'm
I
ready.
know
Okay.
who I'm dealing
This is
with.
a segue for Eddie right here.
Alright.
Just to close yours off to go to him. I will say when I say call your bluff, I mean like, hey, we need to go to the grocery store or no, not grocery store, like gas station to get a snack. I want a snack. I'm leaving in 5 minutes. 5 minutes comes. If he's not in the car, you fucking leave him.
Yeah, he'll eat
Period.
that up. He'll eat that up.
It's because
He can get mad at
it's
it, but like,
because
oh, you
if
didn't
I
fucking
really
go.
want to go,
No,
I'm
he
gonna be
won't.
ready
Yeah,
in
no.
5 minutes.
Yeah, no, but he doesn't want to go anyway. He never wants to leave the house.
That's
So I can call his bluff on that one.
Because it's what.
He's hoping I will leave.
That's
That's
what,
what I'm
wanna do.
saying.
That's why I
Yeah,
said
we're
I
not
don't
gonna
want you
get
to
to a place
baby
that
me. I
we're
want you
gonna
to
throw
treat me like
shots.
an adult. If I don't want to go to the gas station,
Okay,
but
okay,
you want
okay.
me to go, that
Eddie's
means
turn.
you're now working on my
Shut
turn.
up, Eddie's turn.
So my rebuttal to your scenario, Bree, what is this? So you're saying that
Wait,
if
no.
you know that you have to be somewhere at a certain time, right? And you know that you have to leave at a certain time to get to that place at a certain time. But if the person that you're meeting there, isn't there at that certain time, and I get it, they texted you, right? Is it right? Is it right to go off and do something else while you wait on them?
Yeah, but when you know they show up, do you continue doing your thing, or
Yes.
Well, 'cause
do
I
you
mean,
go
like, at that
join them
point-
in what they're
well,
doing?
all
So if
right.
you're going to dinner with a girl and she says, "Hey, I'm
Because
gonna be
it's
30
also-
minutes late," so you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot in this bookstore," and then when she's there, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, no, not into the date. I'm
But
just
you-
gonna stay in this
but
bookstore."
If someone's
Here's-
30
here's-
minutes late and they're going to be 30 minutes late and I'm already at the restaurant, I'm going to tell them that they can reschedule with me and I'm going to probably just leave if they're going to be 30 minutes late. That's a different scenario.
So we
Unless
should've
it's like
started
Red
the
Robin's and you already got
podcast with
bottomless, I can
Yeah.
wait 30 minutes.
that line of
But
thinking.
and here's
What?
where I want to
Honestly,
be.
Yes, I agree.
But-
Yes. You should have tried to start without us because I thought you were starting without us. I was like, oh shit, they're starting without us.
I didn't
We
hear
need
what
to
she
fucking
said.
go.
No, I'm saying
We were
with that
about to,
line of
actually.
thinking.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
text
You
them
would
about to
just
start
start
because
the
Because
that's
it's the you need to call the bluff. Like if you're
Yes.
not gonna fucking do it,
But
then
And
I
you-
already sent that. I don't know what you want me, bro. I already
But
sent it. I
here's-
sent all my
here's-
messages out there.
Here's
Every
my point, though.
message was sent.
One of the messages you sent, and like you said earlier, is you walked away from what we were doing because you're like, all right, they're on that thing. To me,
Then I
that
walked
show
back
because
up.
that was before I even started music. Because when I sat down in the chair,
Yeah, I know.
I was
Then
sitting
I came
there.
back up. I saw you
I
on
was
music.
trying to decide, all right, do I just sink it in and deal with it,
with
or
with
do
you-
you?
Also, I just want to add this one point. Do you view upstairs as still the field? I kind of view that as the park. You're in the vicinity, but you're not on the field. You're not.
I was
You're
working.
not getting your shots up on the field. You're
No, that
you
was
you
that's
you
work
went to the
for me.
monkey bars
I
to
feel
get some
like-
pump up. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that your vibes, you guys are kind of separate even.
Yeah.
I feel like using Bree's analogy of the date in the bookstore is like if you plan on going back to that date, like you're like you would tell the person to reschedule, but in this case you knew you still were gonna come down at some point to do the podcast. It's like if you know that she's in the restaurant waiting, then you might as well just go back to the restaurant.
Here's my
Or-
rebuttal, though. Here's my rebuttal, right? I'm not late for work. I'm not late for work. And when I know there's going to be traffic, when I know it's raining, I leave accordingly. If you had told me this is a shift, and that's how important it is to you. That's why I also
That's
said...
why I said. That's why I said it wasn't actually a deadline time. I
That's
know
why
when
I
I say
said-
1 o'clock, I know
That's
that you're
why-
going to be 20 minutes late. I know that
Yeah.
you guys want
But
to talk.
that's
I
why I
know. I
apologize.
But all I'm saying is that when Keita said we should start, I said yeah, we should. Bree said I'm gonna go get them. I said okay, and then you guys say you're ready. In my mind,
See,
I
but
get the
there was
message.
no
Okay, yeah, they're gonna
getting-
come
But not-
downstairs. But then you didn't. That's all happened. That's all that happened to me. And I wasn't even gonna set up the mics till Bree said, "Let's set them up." I said, "Yeah, fuck it, let's set them up." And then I set up the TV because I was like, "Mics are done. What do I do next?" Oh, the TV just sitting there.
We ran out of side
Hey, Bree, did
quests.
Calvin
That's
bring
when
the
you come
drill?
Get us.
I said, "Bree, did Calvin bring the drill?" No, he didn't bring the drill. Okay, fine. What can I do now?
So-
let me think of a new alternative because I don't want to wait another week with it just sitting on the ground.
Not to
So-
be a menace, but technically this all started before we even got here, because before I said let's get ready and let's go, right? I'm ready.
no, we're bringing
This
up
dude's
old
still
gossip.
naked, okay? Still naked. No shirt
I had
on, no
boxers on.
shoes on. That's naked.
I had socks on.
And I said,
just
One sock.
no, you weren't wearing a shirt.
No, I was wearing the cut sleeve.
No,
my
you weren't
birthday
wearing a
suit
shirt because you
on.
took a shower and you got out and you had those
That's
shorts on and that was the only thing you had
couldn't even
on.
tell.
Okay, so why don't we do this?
So hold on, I'm getting this one out. Because I was offended by this one too. And so I said, let's go. Are you ready? Let's go. Are you ready? Let's go. Carter even said, da, a million times, let's go. And then I said, well, when we get there, I said, when Ryan's mad, I'm going to let him know you're the reason we're late. And Calvin looked at me and said, that's fine. I'm going to be late. And Ryan can be mad that I'm late.
Right. Okay, cool.
So... Just saying.
Just
This
saying,
is
I'm
what
not
I
a
get when
stickler for
I give a
time.
call to action.
I
Just
I
an
give
action.
a call to
Sense of
action,
urgency.
but I give a call to
I don't
action. He
disagree.
says all I need is a call to action.
Because I
No,
feel
hold
like
on. Let me say this. This is 2 times. I'm so sorry, you
Wow,
sweet
Bree
baby.
messing with Nahi
I
now.
have. He has said now. Give me a call to action and I will do it. I have now provided with 2 examples that I've given you a call to action, and you have an excuse for both of those.
But the difference is, it's a
The difference is I
anytime you're like, hey, if we had to go do something, and you're like, hey, I have to have this at the bank by this time before we go there, then I would have been ready.
But
it's
why
a-
was this not
Let me give a
Because-
metaphor. Hold on. It's not about
I
importance.
know the sense
Hold
of
on.
urgency.
I got you. It's not about importance. I'm gonna use fancy terms because I like them. Is a difference between solid things and amorphic things. This is an amorphic thing because it is creative. The problem that we're facing here, work is a solid thing. I'm never fucking late for work. I've been late for work twice in 2 years, and one was like overslept. I think 2 were overslept, and that was it. But this is an amorphic thing. It's creative. What we were doing upstairs is amorphic. What Calvin was doing is amorphic. What you were doing, kind of still amorphic. Even setting it up is more solid, but it's still amorphic. It's still a creative process. What we need, which I suggested, is a solid structure to structure in the amorphic presence. It's like, imagine drawing a big blob, put a grid inside the blob. Some shit is still going to spill out. You can't contain everything. But we have a grid to make sure we discern this from this and this. What we need is a schedule. I bought a schedule book, a year schedule book. On the thing of saying that we need to make a schedule, that was the contribution. I personally am not too much, obviously, because I'm the one everyone's calling out for being late. I'm not tripping it being amorphic. I don't care. If we're 30 minutes late on the podcast, I don't care. If it bothers you,
The timing doesn't bother me. I think it all comes down to the first thing we said was the communication.
Yeah.
And it's on both sides. The way
So
the way we deliver it, and also
the communication.
also-
The
but-
same thing. You set Brie up expecting that she was gonna do it the way
I didn't say
you
anyone.
thought it was gonna be done.
She took it upon herself to go upstairs.
But you assumed she did what you thought in her mind she was
yeah,
doing.
but at
and
the
she
same
didn't.
time, you have. But as, just as much as we can say that okay, I have to change. We should communicate like this. On the other side, it takes. If I send a message and the receiver doesn't listen or doesn't take the message in, then it's not gonna whatever. So if Bree's coming to you, if just as much as you can say Bree should have said we're gonna start now, you could also have known Bree to say, hey, are you guys ready? That she's asking, are we actually ready to start? You
Yes,
could have taken it
goes
as that
into
as
direct
well.
versus indirect speech, and it's like we can pick it apart any day.
Are you okay?
But it's easier if you're just direct. Like
Then go
I feel like when
play.
I express how I feel, I'm very direct. Like last night, I'm getting into I'm editing the I'm in the software, in the structure. I'm doing my thing. Keita comes to join me. I made it very clear to her that hey, if you
Ask
want
Amber
to
to
do
help you.
something or you want to spend some time or do whatever, let me know, because I know myself, knowing that I'm going to get sucked into this thing and everything else is going to fade away. So if you want to spend some time with me, I'm 100% down. I took notes from Calvin, what he said. When you spend time, give all your time and make it 100%. So I said, your time is my time is your time. What do you want to do? I'll give you my 100% attention. Just let me know if you want it. She's like, oh, I'm just chilling right now. Fine. 30 minutes later, she said, hey, do you want to play some Fortnite? And I'm like, yeah, let me finish this last couple things. It took me like 5 minutes to finish the last couple things. Then we went and did that. So the part that we were faulted with us three was we should have came to you and said, hey, when you're ready for us to come set up what we need to set up, come let us know. That's what we should have done.
Mm-hmm.
What you should have done is come let us know. Like, because in your mind, you have that prompt. You should have given us the same prompt we should have gave you.
And
So,
I want to premise off of that, because to this exact same extent about the ready, had we texted you and been like, hey, we're ready, let us know when to come down, it
Also,
would have
but
been the
it wasn't-
same ready.
it wasn't
with a
my ready,
different
though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was their ready. That's the difference of this one. Like, when it's us
Yeah.
four, it's different. But they're here now, just like
And
we
that's why I
said.
said
Just like
it's
you said,
all of
it's
our
all
time.
of our
Yeah.
time. So in my mind,
And that's why
they're
I
ready.
I
But they're not
apologize for
exempt to the rule of
disrespecting
They're
them.
ready,
fucking
but at the same
life.
no, I know they're not. But at the same time,
And so-
it's like, but we did the
You can't
reason.
use them as-
The
and
reason
so-
why it's not Sunday right now is because we all want to be on this. We all wanted to do this, right? That's the only
Right.
reason. Otherwise, I would have done it Sunday. Said let's wait till next Sunday. But we're adamant, you guys, except for Eddie, had to work. No one had to work. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Today was supposed to be about this. So at the end of the day, when you even said tomorrow when I come for the podcast, so you're already coming for that, which means that this is the
but no one
priority,
was
and
unclear
that's
about
just.
that. We all agreed.
We all
that
agreed
the
that the podcast
was
was
the
number
main
one.
quest,
No, I agree.
and we all had side
I
quests.
agree, and
And
I
I do-
know that when I say 1 o'clock, it's not going to be 1 o'clock.
And
I
I do,
know that.
but-
That's my point. But they were ready at whatever. So then I
But
let
so
them.
were we. That was the point. We were ready at any moment.
And so,
But
and
th-
so
she came up to you. But the difference was that the way that she said it didn't resonate to you, and the way that and her walking away and me walking away saying let's go set up the mics didn't resonate to you. That
I didn't
this
hear
is
you
ready.
say that, to be honest.
So
I didn't hear you
no.
say let's set up the mic.
So I didn't say anything. That's my point.
So that's the point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like I
I
said-
wasn't mad at all. I said was that I'm not setting up your guys' stuff again in the sense of like.
It comes down to the
Of the sense of
expectations.
I don't feel like
and the
doing all the work
intentions.
every time to set up so everyone could just come and just sit down and just be able to because I already do all the work on the back end. So that's how I felt
agree.
in the moment. Now I didn't say I'm gonna set up the mics because they're not doing it. Bree asked, "Do you want to show me how to set up the mics?" I said yes. I'm gonna do it. That's all. And then so in my mind's like yes. So in this whole thing, it's really communication between you guys. Of Calvin's communication was that
no.
No, I
yes,
think it's group
yes, it
communication
was.
for
It
sure.
is all
It's
group
her fault,
communication,
too.
but at the same time, is she came up and she
it is
communicated with
it is
you guys.
that moment. Yeah.
And
that's
I
what I'm-
communicated with you guys about the Pokemon
I'm
game.
about to put
I
a
let
bow
the
around
conversation
it.
because I knew that this lasts a lot longer than 1
But
hour,
it's
2
also,
hours.
You have to acknowledge it's also your fault. It's partly your fault.
Well, no. All right.
Do you
Here's
not see that?
here's.
I
the
can
vote.
see that because I didn't say, "Hey, let's start now," but in my mind, she did. That's the only. So my
That's your problem.
Here's-
That's your fault.
here's
You're
the
sued.
vote.
okay,
Here's-
yes, I do. But I'll say at the same time, my point is that Kita didn't even say anything. All she did was call you, and now you guys are coming downstairs. But when
Let's talk
Bree
about
did it,
that.
Pull up your
You
phone.
got-
Pull up your phone. Because all she did was call me. I don't have mine because it's over
She's,
there.
you said, did you call?
I said, did
well,
you
I
call
told
me?
her to say we're going to start the podcast now. So if that's what she said.
We're doing the podcast.
Yeah, but
And I
my
said,
point
we're
is
doing the
that-
podcast. It's time to go.
Okay, yeah, okay, I agree with you, and so
Here's-
I did, and then it all started. But my point is that I thought that Bree already did. So yes, I could have checked
At
up.
the end of the day, this is what I feel like. I'm gonna say
Could
this.
have checked up with her.
In reality.
But you have to also
when we
understand.
walk
Are you
in-
not
when you
acknowledging
walk
that
in
you don't
and say,
listen all the
I'm
way?
not gonna set up anyone else's mics anymore. I'm looking at him like, bro, why are you upset about this? Like, if you feel some type of way about having to do all the work on the back end and having to set it up, shit, fucking voice your opinion and voice how you feel. Tell everybody, hey, guys, when you come in here, I don't want to set everybody's stuff up, so can you please set your own stuff up? Voice how you feel. If you don't tell us how you feel, then dude, that's the part where I agree with what Calvin says. Ryan can be mad about it. If you want to get mad after the fact, be mad after
Yeah, I
the fact.
agree.
I'm not
I
sure.
wasn't. I did. That, I agree.
It's on you.
But also,
But if
you
you
have
wanna
to
tell me how you
acknowledge
feel,
that.
cool,
You have
I
to acknowledge
respect
that the way that Bree coming up, just it's not me coming up to tell you. It's her. So you have to understand that this is Bree talking to you, not me.
And like I said, it was the first time I saw Bree, so I thought it was a warm welcome. And she actually went for the high five.
You know, but
So
still,
you
but
made
also,
the podcast for the
Well, like
high
I
but
said,
you
five.
know that
it's
the
the
podcast
expectation.
priority.
It was
But
a warm welcome.
It's the expectations though,
It's
because like
both.
we have the because like
Is
all
that not
four of us,
reasonable?
and I agree with you on what Calvin said, right? Like this is all of our time, so yes, it's the most important, more important than mine and Jason's B story, more important than Calvin's B story, more important than your B and anyone's individual B story. But we have the expectation, the four of us, we've done 30 podcasts, right? That we chill for a little bit. We might go play football outside. We might play baseball. We might go off and do our own things. We might go outside and smoke and chill, have a pre-podcast, right?
I agree.
We have a lot of expectations that we do something beforehand. And I understand that y'all don't have that. And that's fine. But to us, that we have that. And you have to
Right.
understand that that's where we're coming from.
So I'm
And
gonna,
it's
I'm gonna,
unfair.
I agree, but I'm not saying.
It's
I'm
unfair.
gonna,
Do I
Let
agree
me
that
finish
Bree
this
should have
thought.
said we're starting now? I agree. Yes, she
Yeah,
should have said
me
that.
too.
But also, I do agree that when she came up and said, "Hey, are you ready?" and you said yes, that in
But also, I
our
agree
minds,
when you
that's
saw her walk
Let me
up,
finish
it's the
this
same
thought.
expectation.
It's unfair
Yeah,
for
so
y'all
I
to
w-
expect us to be different when
you, that's
we
the
have
same
this
standard.
expectation because it's the standard.
No,
right now.
I understand. I could have said that, but
We can
all, I
change the
could have said
standard.
let's start now too, 100%. But we all have to acknowledge that it's both talking and listening. Both
For
of them.
sure.
100%.
Yeah, but so it is for you.
I know. I
Like,
agree.
You just tried to point it all at us. We were ready to go down with the ship, and you're like, "Oh, y'all are going down."
I'm saying, but this
Fuck that,
moment,
nah.
but in the moment, it wasn't my, like, I could have came up and said, hey, I was ready. But what I did, I came up to back up to whatever, and when she said, hey, do you want to set the mics while they get ready? Okay, cool, yeah. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, I got enacted by them. I was cool to sit down and do whatever. I was cool to go on the porch.
I'm gonna just say I will take full credit for this entire problem.
No,
No.
that's not the answer.
But it's okay. I won't take full credit, but I'll take like
credit, half credit.
60%. No, I'm gonna take a little more than half. I'll take 60%.
It's not just
Because
the team.
I-
It's everyone's fault.
No,
You're like
I'm not.
20%. It's
I'm
20%
not.
your fault. It's 40% Ryan's and 40% ours. Because we're on
Here's-
the opposite side.
20%. Okay.
Being split
Here's-
down, or split
here's-
it fucking evenly, but
Here's the big thing, and I'm gonna use this to get to my bow, right? In your shoes, had I been you, when she came out and she's like, hey, do you want to set this up while they're coming down? I would have known to ask her, well, are they coming? Like, did they get up?
Yeah.
I know who I'm dealing with. So I know, as assertive as she is, I'm going to assume she's being assertive, but I also know I can't assume she was directly assertive.
I'm a little scared to be assertive towards y'all too. I'm not gonna lie.
And so
think
and
it's
that's my
very
point. And so it was a
First time I ever
lie.
heard you
It
yell
was
today.
a very big perception issue, and that's why we talk about several times that intention.
What's up?
Someone's at the
do you
door.
know?
Someone's at the door.
Can you see through? Did you see who it was or no?
Oh, we should probably just go out there.
Yeah.
There are 2 children.
All right, we're coming.
Is it?
I swear, if it's a prank.
I think I hear somebody knocking. So I think that we should cut it here, and this should be its own podcast.
Can you hand me my phone?
And then delay the parenting one again.
No. Just go ahead and do the parenting one right now. That way we have 2. The whole podcast.
my
is
bow
about
here
lack of
is-
communication with the notions.
My bow here is the same thing we talk about a lot, which is, and it's not as much as it is lack of communication. It's because intentions aren't clear, so it leaves it up to perception.
Yeah.
My biggest
If
thing, honestly,
you
my biggest
allow-
thing is that what we were doing in different moments is that you're like what you guys are doing is almost endless.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
1000%.
Because like you said, it could
And
always
so-
be working. So in my mind, it's like, okay, where is that? Like I'm
To
not
the
gonna.
same regard,
I can't
can
tell.
end it anywhere.
I
though.
can't. Yeah, exactly. But and so could they.
Yeah.
They could have paused it, and especially because Eddie came by himself.
Yeah.
So he could have like that could have been so. But in their mind, it's like. But also, I can't tell them that moment, whatever they talked about, might have been even more important than whatever. So all I could have done,
However,
really, is come up and be like,
you-
Bree, did you tell him to come now?
No. But you can though, because if it's more important to you.
But also, I didn't care when we started. I really didn't. I was just trying to make sure that we actually just get it done. Except I didn't want to do it. What was it?
That's one of her little
Amber's
friends.
Right.
Easter egg. Important. Well, for her,
Did you spill my coffee?
No, the couch did.
So you spilled my coffee.
It's going through it today.
Man,
Wait,
tragedy.
y'all are gonna need to get me a paper towel or something.
Yeah, you see that spread on the TV too?
It was just a teeny bit.
I got it off. And I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's
What's
probably
the
when
one
you.
So, and I will say this.
The visual.
I will say this while everybody's kind of getting up, is that I think we've been saying the same thing for the past however long we've been recording. And I think we should segue. I think the bigger picture is here. We all want everyone to take the amount of responsibility for the problem as the guilt that we are feeling. And you know what I mean?
I don't though.
I think that's what the problem is. I do. Actually, I don't necessarily feel that about your way.
I don't
But-
feel like y'all were in the wrong
Actually, I
or
don't
we're
think
in the
you did
wrong. I
anything.
think we
No, I
all
think it's the
only
have
one because-
this
Here's
responsibility.
Here's
that we
my
need to
question.
take.
What I got from
everybody.
this, honestly, is that to make sure that whatever Bree said, just make sure she's coming in an assertive way.
Yes.
If I am relying on her to do something. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm relying on her to do something. Otherwise, like, I was perfectly content waiting till 3 o'clock. I
And
was
that's how I
fine.
feel. This is
I
how-
didn't
but
care about
here's- I wanna
setting the
ask
mics, but
this
in my
question.
mentality of you guys saying, when she told me that you guys said you were ready and you guys were coming, I was like, okay, they're coming, and then you guys don't. And then
We
I,
didn't say
by
we
the
were
time
coming.
I set it
We
up,
never said we were coming.
Nope.
But that
said we were
I
ready.
actually never
that's what-
even
but
said
it
I
was
was
brought
ready.
to me that you guys were. So that's what I was saying. So then I was like, I'm not just gonna say you guys and just set up your shit so you guys can just sit down and just have whatever. That's my whole
But then
point.
think about
But
it.
if I would have known, or if I would have came up and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, are you guys ready?" and you guys said, or you guys come, like, "No, we're gonna talk 30 more minutes." Okay, fine. Then if I was sit down and pissed off, "Oh, they're waiting 30 minutes," that's on me, 100%.
Yeah.
Agree.
Now,
You know what I'm saying? But I haven't got that in my mind. That's not where I was at. I was that based off whatever.
Here's
Wait,
my
let's just go around and like one
Closing
because I think
thoughts.
we all
Yeah,
have
everyone
Okay,
something.
final thoughts.
closing thoughts.
Final thoughts is I will take responsibility, but
I'm not gonna ask it.
it is hard for me to understand. Like, if someone asks me, "Are you ready?" I'm from that point forward thinking that person is also ready. Like, if they're taking the time to come and ask me if I'm ready,
But it's also because
Like,
you assume most
80%.
people are waiting.
That's what I did last.
it's not even that I assume most people
I
are
think
waiting
it's
on me.
just the plug.
Because then
And
I know
it's like,
that I know two things are gonna happen. Two things are happening, right? They're either ready or they are now going to go get ready because I said I'm ready. So either of those require me to also participate in it. They're either ready or they're going to get ready, which also requires me because I also need to get ready for the podcast. And that's where my mind was. It's like I see no other way. You either think I'm ready or that I'm about to get ready. If I've asked you, are you ready? Both of those require you down
if
here.
you're not ready and you ask me, am I ready? And I'm ready, then that's casual. Like, that happens a lot where it's like, where if I know I'm wearing what I've got on and you're like, hey, are you ready? I'm about to go. Yeah, I
Okay,
get
hold
that.
on. You
But-
are right though. In that essence,
Yeah,
technically
1000%.
speaking, in that moment when you ask us, "Were you ready?" It's like if you're walking out the door and you say, "Are you ready?" If I don't have my wallet and keys and phone, I'm technically not ready. So in that sense, like you're right about that. Like that,
Yeah.
us saying we're ready, we're not actually ready in that sense. But in the other sense of it, like,
You
are
could
you
have.
ready to do it? It's like, yeah, you fucking throw me in the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'm ready anytime.
Because it didn't take anything to come from up there to down here. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't like, all right, let me save this and then I'm going to go. Like, if I did change clothes, that's why I didn't. Because I was like, yeah, I'm
Right.
ready now.
Right.
Like, and I'm okay.
Right.
Like, I'm ready to go.
Right.
And so, and I guess, my question is along the lines of, like we keep saying, as much as it would have been nicer to have started it earlier, it's fine that we started it now and we're having the dialect that we're having. And so that's one big thing I want to just, like, point out is the fact that it is okay. It is fine.
100%.
Yeah.
And as much
It's all
as we're
just for the
yeah,
future.
exactly.
It's all just so that the next time
And
this
so-
problem arises, whatever we
and that-
communicate,
and
the
that's
way
why-
that everyone feels that should be communicated.
That's why I
right?
keep continually saying and talking about how if, like, in the instances where it's not okay, because case in point, I would throw out a like pin on Kita's behalf because Kita wanted to go because of the baby. She had a reason that it wasn't okay that we
Solid
weren't
versus
starting.
amorphic.
Right.
And so, with me not even knowing you had the baby here, because I was even upstairs while I was working, had the blip in my brain where I was like, I wonder if Nahi's here. Because I didn't know if, maybe somebody's watching it. Maybe you guys wanted to be locked in. Maybe we were bringing him. I didn't know. Especially considering we haven't had Nahi. That's a new variable on the podcast. And so there's and that's what I mean by, like, there's the aspect of, and on his behalf, like I mentioned, if I were in your shoes, I would have known how to follow up with her. I also knew in my shoes that when she really wants me to get up and go, like when we were leaving, I got up and got dressed because I was like, all right, that one's her call to arms. Like, that one's not the she's gonna let me keep bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. Makes sense.
And so I didn't get that up there. Because in
wasn't
her
aware.
head, she also doesn't understand setup. And so as much as, like, and that's why last time I was like, learn how to do the mic. Like, if you want to set it up now, learn how to do it. Because I know setup. I know we all set up our mics, and that means we're ready. That means we're, like, ready to go ready. That means we're walking out at the door ready when all of our mics are set. That's a unspoken tradition that we just kind of have. And so on that day when I was sitting on the couch like, no, I'm not going to do it, it's because Jason was upstairs. I know he's not even going to be close. So I'm not going to get in my mentality of I'm waiting on the light to turn on, knowing he's upstairs and going to be a part of it. because I know who I'm dealing with. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, I know you all best. No. I'm saying it to say it would have been as easy as me to be on that side instead of that side.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of us, because if you three were upstairs locked into Fortnite, and you would have been like, oh, wait, but we're almost done, and like we have a chance, it could have been just as easy vice versa. And it would have been the exact same issues, problems, and situations. And that's why, like, my overall question has turned into a statement. It didn't matter today what time it actually happened, because we're still in it, and we're all still happy to be in it. It did have a solid that we weren't necessarily aware of. And so
Until
as
we were
much
made
as
aware of it, in the moment we were made aware of it, I made everyone aware of it.
as much as it did have matter, when we didn't come down and we said we were ready, it was because in our brain it didn't matter.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, I did not just sit here and
No,
for 30. I
like you
set the
said, you were
mics
doing
up. I
stuff.
did that. I
And
was still
so-
doing that actually. By the time
And
it
that's
came down.
why it's okay. Had you not had those side quests, you would have been like, nah.
I would have went
let's
upstairs.
start. Exactly. And
But
so
then I was like, once I
as
was
much
as
as-
the TV, I was like, all right, well, Keita, just text them like, let's start now, because my mind's like, all right, what are they doing? Like, let's go now. But
because
you didn't know, let's go now.
Uh-huh.
You know, so but that's why I was like, all right, Keita, just fucking
so
tell them we're about to start.
That was
Okay.
my vote.
I mean, like, I've said what I needed to say. Like, I agree.
Yeah, I
Like,
think we should
Yeah.
segue. But if you have something,
Well, I wanted to finish, but
that, like, you know, it just comes down.
Ew, it's like-
Excuse me. Sorry, viewers. Listeners, too. It just comes down to, like, we have, like, certain expectations that we all had coming into it. We had certain intentions that we all had coming into it. And so I feel like we just got to make those clear when we go forward. It's like we want to, you know, you
Because
have
there
a
have
certain
been-
amount of time.
Like you said, there have been days, because you're like 25 out of 30, right? There were 5 podcasts where it's like, hey, we got to start at this time because we got to be done at this time. We got to do that. And there were times where I set that stipulation where I was like, I have to leave at this time, so let's go ahead and get it. And on those days, there was the day we got into it, Jason came down. So that is when it has matter.
Yeah.
When it has matter, we'll do it. And that's what I think we've all come to agree into.
Like, you got to initiate that.
We
If you
have
want
to-
you say this all the time. It's like, if you want to do something, you got to do it yourself.
push the snowball.
You got to put. You gotta
But also
push
that's
it,
the same
push
thing
it.
when Bree texts saying, hey, do you want to do the? In my mind, a podcast can happen every Sunday, and I'm gonna edit it every Tuesday, and it's gonna come out every Wednesday, right? So when Bree texts saying, hey, I'm down to do the family one, what do I think of? Oh, it's Easter and Calvin has to work. So instead of being like, yeah, and then wait, like, oh, now it doesn't work out, is doesn't Calvin have to work and it's Easter? What can we do about that? Okay, let's push it to Monday. Oh, Jason has work. But it's up to Jason. How does Jason feel about it? Then it all comes down to, you know what? Why don't we just do it Tuesday? And then last night I take the initiative to say, let's do it at 1, knowing that it's going to be a little longer, but let's aim for an earlier day versus a later day, because knowing that I'm going to have to take some time to edit this so that it does come out at 12, because now it is Tuesday. It has to come out at 12.
And I'm not caught up with the, like, I haven't read a lot of what's happened in the group chat, just because I knew I'm not in the standpoint to really be making, like, to be inputting to it, because I had so much else, like, so much else. And so I'm not. And so I was trusting their relaying between the two of them, right? And so for me, though, I will say that anytime you've put, we are starting the podcast at 1, is very different than let's aim for 1.
Yeah, that's why I knew. Like,
And
that's why I was
and
never
so-
tripping that it was 2 o'clock.
But
You know?
the thing I want to kind of throw out to you is that's the first like time you made it amorphic, right? It was an amorphic 1 o'clock, right? Then when you walked away from us, because and it's also knowing who we're dealing with. I know if you wanted us to not have hopped in the beeline, you would have prevented it, right?
Agree, because I
And
saw when you guys walked upstairs, they pulled up. It was like instantaneous. I like shot my shot, looked behind. You guys were walking upstairs. Calvin's pulling up with Bree.
So
I was
he's a
like, oh.
liar. He said by the time I texted them, they were already upstairs.
Right, well,
But he
by
didn't
the
look at
time
his phone. I didn't
my
see it
phone-
either. I didn't see it either till like I took like a piss or something. I was like, oh, they're about to come. So I was like, then I saw it was 10
I
minutes
saw the
ago.
text.
So I was like, okay.
I didn't
But then
see
in that moment, I
And
was
that's-
like, what is like who's to say that hour that they spent talking is way more beneficial than maybe starting hour, because now this became the
100%.
podcast.
I think
And
it's
so I would just say I would just throw out that anytime there's a tentative plan and we're ready to start. We just need to make sure that there is that like blatancy.
Yeah.
There is a blatancy. Because since
Makes
there
sense.
wasn't a blatancy today, we were able to have hour and change of conversation.
I mean,
just
I
about
agree
what
with you.
happened.
I feel like
You guys
whenever
wanna-
time I want to get the podcast rolling, I'm the driving force.
Yeah.
And let's get it done. Let's
Yeah.
get everything set up. Whenever Ryan's like, let's get it done,
Blatancy
he's the
over
driving
intention.
force.
Yeah.
Because perception.
That's why I didn't.
matters
But also
more
to
than
me, it didn't really.
intention.
I just want to make sure it didn't happen at 8 p.m.
Right.
So I was like, okay, it's 2 p.m. It doesn't matter. But then when Keita says let's go, I was like, okay, well, in order for the parenting, the couples podcast, we need Keita and Bree. So last week Keita didn't have the energy to get on, so we couldn't do the idea that we wanted to do. So in my mind, it's like if we have an idea for this thing, we got to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Like we can do it at any time. We can do it. It'll start every Sunday. It could be at 10 p.m. It could be at Sunday at
But
1.
it's also there are times
You
where
know?
we have an idea and we're still tenant. My point is, like you said, in your mind, you gave it matter. In your mind, Keita and Bree's presence gave it matter, right? And that's why I also
Yeah, that was the enacting. Of,
I did-
Now it's time for you guys to stop.
And
what you're
that's-
doing and come back
that's
to
why
it.
I
And that's what I
apologize.
thought would happen, but it didn't. And I was like, okay, well,
that's why I apologize for the disrespected time
You
because
know.
once we talked for a minute, I understood the matter that was being brought from Keita, the matter that was.
at the
being
end
brought,
of the day,
I understood that it did matter. I didn't see the matter.
the
until
time
I
wasn't
was
wasted in any
treating it
front.
like
Doesn't
it
matter. No time was wasted though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, no time was wasted. This still had to get set up. That had to get done because I didn't want to just sit on the ground for another week and think like, oh, Calvin didn't bring the drill or whatever. It's like, okay, Keaton didn't bring the drill. Let's do something
I'm
about it.
bringing the drill next week.
So I did that.
I'm very disappointed that I didn't waste Ryan's time. It's my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
thing to do.
Well, do you
That's
guys,
it. You know, you can waste your own time, bro.
Do you guys
No
want
one's no one's saying no one's crying about it.
Tentatively.
But
set
Jason
food
wants
I
to
wanna
say
give my
That's all he
closing
wanted to say,
statements.
yeah.
set plans for
Oh, yeah.
dinner.
What's your cutest closing statement in here?
Jason, well,
Classic.
31 episodes in, you
Classic.
still can't keep your mic up.
I pulled it off.
I can't put it like off too. I've
Let's
always
get
at
on.
least like kept it on and been able to just kind of like nudge it. She pulled it off.
Sorry, let
Poor
Keita
Keita.
speak.
No, it's okay. I can confidently say that I did nothing wrong. And
You guys are all to blame,
also-
and yeah.
no, what Bree said about like, and I hate to even jump back into this, but it really makes me think like, and this isn't a shot, babe, but when Bree asks, "Are you ready?" I feel like I could ask that same sentence, like if we're going to a doctor's appointment or whatever, and if I come and ask you that, you're like, "Yeah, I'm ready," and you're getting up and being ready. Whether that's finishing what you did or not, because you wouldn't have taken 30 minutes.
Yeah, because it
'Cause
is a difference because
That's
Saying
why,
that
like I
sense.
said, like
For
I
me,
said,
it
you know,
had mattered.
But that's why I can agree with Bree when she's like, when you ask someone, "Are they ready?"
well,
Like,
that-
but
I
maybe
also
that's just
agree
how
with
I receive it too. Because if somebody was to ask me if I was ready, I'd be like, "Yeah."
Shit's on time.
If I say yeah,
That's
then
fine.
that means I'm getting up and doing.
see, this
That
is the thing.
thing.
Well, she
Unless
was
you have anything to
cool.
say, Bree, before I give my closing ones.
I did have something to say. It was I do not remember.
Look, to answer that part, if it was a doctor's appointment, the only space where I'm saying I'm ready and not fully ready is knowing that I can grab my keys, grab my wallet, and get dressed and be out the door and get in the car damn near the same time as everybody else. So I'll say, yeah, I'm ready, and I'll essentially send you ahead, knowing respectfully that I will get there faster than everybody else will. So I don't need to rush.
So, with that being said, though, but then you start making steps towards getting ready, right?
Yes.
There was no steps.
And so
Being
the
made
difference
towards getting
is
ready.
that the only difference that I see between like a doctor's appointment and this is that
Well, that's
what
just
we
an
were
example,
doing,
babe.
what
That
we were
could be
doing,
anything.
you can pick anything and it's the same rules apply. It's a set thing. It's just something that's
Matter versus
has matter
anamorphic.
versus amorphic.
Right.
This podcast has always had an amorphic start.
Right.
Always. Whether I'm there for when everyone gets here or I get home from work, and a day there's been like 2 or 3 of them where they already start and I walk in and yeah, they had to set my mic up and that's the only part.
Right.
But I'm late or whatever. You guys are on a time crunch. They have a set. This needs to happen now, so they start without me, and I jump in. It's a little harder because we have the door here.
Yeah.
But these guys were doing a podcast, and I came home in the last fucking 10 minutes, and I barged in, and I made it a 30 more minute podcast
Right.
because they're already doing it, and I jump in. Like I said, I'm not an NPC, so I'm not just gonna go with what everyone's doing. I need to see it
Call him an
happening.
NPC again,
and
bro.
I'm not saying you are. I said no one here is an NPC, and that's why we're in this problem. And this is the thing, right? Like, if you guys, when Bree first came up, for me, I didn't take it as if we're doing this now. Keita's thing, here's the text. She called me. I saw the call fade away. I said, "Did you call?" She said, yeah. which I know was like a little bit being smart. He said we are doing, because I didn't answer, right? She said we are doing the podcast now. And I said,
Is there an
okay.
exclamation
I
there?
said, okay, coming.
Because it's also
I didn't read that.
it's
That's not my
there's a
fault.
call to arms and there's a call to urgency,
Yeah.
right? If the call to urgency can happen without the call to arms, you're just less prepared. When she came up, it felt like a call to arms. Like, hey, we're gonna start any minute now.
But a call to arms requires you to get dressed, which is getting
Yes,
getting
but
ready. And that would have included.
I
getting
was
down here
already
and putting
dressed.
stuff
I already
on.
had my sword.
No, you didn't.
So
Yeah,
hold
I
on,
did.
hold on,
How?
hold on.
No,
hold on.
because
you guys
had
had
your
yours.
sword.
Like
You
I
guys
said,
had
when
yours.
he tapped on my shoulder, I
You guys had
saved
yours.
and I left.
But
So we can move on.
But that would have been the call to action, not the call to arms.
That's my
to say
point.
this,
The call to arms
felt
would
like
have been
let's squash
setting
it,
up the
guys.
equipment.
to say this,
We got
guys,
to
to say
close the
this.
statements
Well,
out.
what Calvin was doing, what me and Eddie were doing, was had an amorphic ending.
Right.
We ended at Gen 6. We created, actually, and it was Eddie who created a solid ending. We'll stop at Gen 6.
And that was actually after
After
Keita
the
texted
okay
us.
coming.
Yeah, that was after Keita
Right.
texted us.
Can you have what?
No.
No.
Water.
Water, please.
Calvin hits the please. She would not have got a please from me. But, so, what we were doing had an amorphic ending, like the creating has amorphic endings. It can end here. It can end here. It's like a painting. You can always add another stroke to it. There's no actual ending. The point that it ends is the point that you say, okay, I'm now going to give this an ending. There's no true ending. You give it an ending. It's like a Pokemon game. When you make an end game, you can have the script end. There's no ending because you can run in the wild grass and catch a new Pokemon. There's no end. So what we're doing is amorphic. This has an amorphic start. That has an amorphic end. If you take two different colors and you stack them over top and you add up them to blend, from red goes purple to blue. It's not just red, blue. So for us to walk, how I felt when we walked down here and your first thing to say is, oh, I'm not setting everyone's mic up. It's like, bro, it's like tit for
But
tat,
that's
bro.
also
like,
at the moment thinking that Bree did give you.
and that's
Yeah,
that's
I
my
feel
point.
like, yeah,
That's
so
my point.
that-
That's
that
my
can
point,
be a
though. This is
little-
my whole point. So it's like tit for tat. Like you can say even like I don't even take offense at all. Me being called out for like being late or not setting up my shit because I never have felt like I'm not pulling my weight. So yeah, my mic doesn't get set up, but I do this, that, and that. If I was to do all of these things and all these things, I could sit on the other end and be like, oh well, I'm doing all this, but I'm not fucking counting sticks because I love it. Period. So I don't give a fuck. I can do this much work or this much work. I love it. So I don't care. I never will look and be like, oh, you need to do more. You need to do more. You need to do more. I don't give a fuck. I love this shit. So you can do as much as you fucking want to do or as little as you want to do. I fucking love it. Period. As much as you want to be involved or you want to be involved or you want to be involved, it's up to you. And when I'm going to put you in the driver's seat, when I feel like you need to be in the fucking driver's seat, when we're doing it at the computer and at the program, I know about the program. I've been doing it for like a week and a half, not that long. He hasn't done it at all. I still put him in the main chair. I said, you scroll through here. You tell me what you like, what you don't, and I'll write it down. I put myself in the passenger seat because I knew that he'll be better in the driver's seat. I gave him the tools to be successful. And I feel like if you want to have everyone have that level of success with what you want them to do, give everyone the tools to be successful. So you didn't, and no disrespect because that came through Kedah. It wasn't your fault. But, and Kedah didn't know. So it's those variables that are unknown. But Bree didn't have the tools to be successful to come up and get us. So it's not her fault that the message didn't get conveyed. She didn't have the tools. And if we knew that it was starting now, my text is exact evidence of we come when we know it's starting now because we were given the tools to be successful.
Yeah, I agree. But also in her mind, she was telling you to come. So how can you say that?
But
that's
she didn't have the
wrong?
tools to be successful because she didn't say to us, hey, we're starting now, because we didn't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how it got from A to B. The point is, we didn't get the message.
Yeah.
So if it was said, hey, Bree, we want to start now. We got everything set up. There's nothing else we can do. We're just waiting on them. Can you go tell them to come down or anyone? Then, yeah, we would have came
I
down.
did that.
Because we respect each other.
I did that, but through Kedah.
Well, then that's 1-2. It's like
And
the
that's
California
what
game.
Yeah, I know. I agree. But when I did it through, I didn't even do it. Bree took it upon herself. So really, it came down to. That's why I said it came down to the communication between Bree and you guys wasn't there. Whatever the message was.
But my
it
whole
just
point,
wasn't
my whole
there.
point is, it's easy to like, it's a stone down. It's like it's passing the message. It's easy to like when you're playing telephone game. A message got to Kedah. Kedah gave it to Bree, and you can now blame Bree that the message didn't get delivered. But if you start the game off saying, like this is what we need exactly, and then someone fucks it up, you can blame them. But there was no, from what I've seen this whole time, there's been no exact. This is exactly what we needed because we didn't know that it was starting. In my mind, when you first came in here, I was with the baby. The first thing you said to me essentially was like, oh, about the Pokemon thing, which is the task that I gave you. You were coming back to me with. Then you guys are playing ball. When I ran out of side quests, which was with the baby, because I had the baby and I gave the baby to her, I ran out of side quests. I now came for Eddie. I had no more quests. I came to Eddie. I said, hey, let's go to the Pokemon thing. And he was playing the basketball. I brought him up into that. And when you ran out of side quests, which was setting up the mics, because even though...
No. My side quest was originally... I was just waiting. Then I saw everyone come. Then I
But
watched...
that's the problem right
then
there.
I watched...
No.
How? But I was waiting.
Yes.
I was sitting there shooting the basketball, what I wanted to do. Once I finished shooting the basketball, I turn around and I see they pull up. You guys went upstairs. I went upstairs to see what you guys are going to talk about, and I gave my 1 or 2 things that I had to give. Then I was like, okay, this is what they're doing.
I thought you were already upstairs.
Yeah, I was, but I walked upstairs. I saw you pull up. I literally watched you pull up, which made me stop playing. I stopped playing basketball because I was like, this is not what I want to be doing now. I see you guys are here. I want to see how this is gonna go. So I go upstairs. They're talking about the Pokemon game. I know that's what they're gonna talk about. I sit down. I don't sit. Actually, I stand. Mm-hmm. You take the chair. I sit there. I wait. I listen to what you guys are saying. I give my opinion of about 1 or 2 things, knowing that that's gonna strike your guys' conversation to go farther. You gave your expertise, and then you left. You went and you did your thing. I came down here to see where they were at. That's what I did. I saw where they were at. They were having a conversation. I joined. Blah, blah, blah. We went. By the time that conversation dimmed, it's like, okay, now it's time. So then Keita was like, oh, we should start. I was like, okay, cool. So Bree was like, I'll go get them. I was like, okay, yeah. So what I do, I clean up the little thing. I move whatever Keita hadn't moved yet. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Let's go see. I go upstairs. But actually, all I want to do is show Bree the song. So I was like, okay, I went upstairs. Then she's saying, like, while we wait for them to come down, let's set up the mics. I was like, okay, here, listen to the song while we do
Which
that.
is exactly what should be done, no matter who's where.
Yeah, agreed. So then I moved down
you
here,
guys up
and
there,
then by the time I was done, once I was like, all right, mics are set up, TV's on there, I just got to set up the Roku. I was like, all right, just text them, we're going to start now because we're not coming yet. Not knowing that Bree's response or Bree's question to you or the message to you didn't get through to you guys. What I got from her was that you guys said you're ready. In my mind, okay, they're ready, they're coming. But then you guys didn't come, so now I say to Keita, text them, we're just gonna start because that's I know that's gonna.
So my point in all that whole timeline, the one point that I disagree with is the moment where, when we finally get here, the space between wherever you're like, oh, let's just start when we finally get here. When we walked in, there was a disdain for us being late.
Because in my because I had them. Okay, but I had my.
Because the moment
understanding is that you guys are coming.
Like, oh, if it was me and I set up everything else and I'm still waiting on you guys, I'm going upstairs to be like, yo, guys, I got everything ready.
Yeah, but
instead of coming up there, he's gonna text.
I sent it. I had Keita call you, which you did, what didn't go through, and then he texted you.
In that moment,
but also because in my mind it's already in my mind Bree already told you. Bree in my mind Bree already sent the message.
It doesn't matter. Still bullshit.
Bree already sent it. So it's like in my mind Bree already sent the message. You guys said you're right. You didn't come for 30 minutes. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not doing this again.
I feel
but now
that's your
now
fault
understanding.
That's bullshit.
Now understanding. But also you were assuming that Bree didn't give you the message.
She
but
fucking didn't.
What,
she said, "Are you guys?"
It's not an assumption.
She said, "Are you ready?" You guys said yes.
I want to ask you this question because I've been thinking about it for a second.
It's bullshit.
So you went up the stairs. Bree was coming out, and she's like, "Hey, let's go set up the mic."
No, she was in the room. I walked in the room.
At
At the end of the day, if you feel any type of way about it, you should have walked up the stairs and came and got us. For us to walk in and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm not doing it again." I'm like, "Dude, you fucking get over it, bro. You can be mad about it."
Yeah, okay, yeah, but
No.
but also that's
My
at the time
question-
thing. You guys had just been sitting up there for 30 minutes, knowing that we called. Now knowing that I don't care that I just
Not
I
knowing that
said.
you called. We didn't know that. Like we all had said before, we didn't know that it was starting.
Yeah, not before I said that. This all came out in this conversation. So I can't go back and change what I said beforehand. I can't go back and she can't go back and change.
I feel like we all agree on the same thing at this point.
No, they're disagreeing because Jason thinks regardless, Ryan isn't justified to feel that way.
Yeah, I know. Not feel. You can feel how you want, but to be like have a distant. Oh, I'm not doing that. I think that's bullshit. It's petty.
Yeah.
I think that's petty.
Okay, yeah, but also in my mind, waiting 30 minutes when you guys say you're ready is also
That's
petty.
in your mind. That's not the reality, though.
But it wasn't the reality.
But
And
it
so the
wasn't
reality isn't
reality
the
at the
same.
time. It
At the
wasn't
time, it was the
reality
reality. At the time,
But
Bree
now-
came up and asked you guys, you guys are ready.
he's saying
You
But then
said
I
yes.
say
Now that
communicate.
he-
That's why I said it's a fucking communication
And
error at the
now-
beginning
and
that
now-
you
Okay,
don't
yeah,
fucking
and it's also a
communicate how you
communication
feel.
error for me to say that because it is a communication. Because the reason I said it, it wasn't that I wasn't sitting here if now, with the information now, I wouldn't have said that. I don't care about the mics getting set up. We're having the podcast. It happened at whatever time.
Now, but why don't you just go?
Because the information before was different. The information before about you understanding that Bree was coming up here and saying that in her mind, saying that "Are you guys ready?" was that action.
And he did express how he felt because that's what that helped us lead into the conversation.
Yeah, but that's a little too late when we walk in and you say, "Oh, I'm not doing that again."
Yeah, but it's also a little too late to say that you didn't know that Bree sent.
That's like you guys walk into the studio after you switch the whole roles. You guys are down here, I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna go make a beat. Let's make a song." All you guys say, "Yeah, let's go make a song." Then I make the whole beat, write my verse, and be like, "Oh, I did the whole thing myself. I'm not doing that again because you guys didn't come fucking help me." You're like, "Fuck, what the fuck?"
It's a little different though because his reality was that I clearly went up there and stated to you guys this needs to happen. Okay, then. We come down and I say, let's do this while we wait on them. Okay, then it's 30, 45 minutes later and you still haven't come. Did they say
they were coming?
I don't know if you asked them, but I said, let's go do this while we wait for them to come down. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that you guys were coming and I relayed to him that you guys were coming. You know, so he thought, okay, he's like, okay, I'll set this up so you can learn. Okay. But then he's also aggravated that 30 minutes later, you guys are still not down here.
1,000%.
And that's fine. But right, oh, go ahead.
Here's my, because I have a two-parter, right?
Then let me jump in there if you got a two-parter.
All right, go.
I agree with everything you're saying, but then it comes down to the fact is, if I have a problem with what Calvin's doing and my energy went through Eddie, that's my fault. I should have came to Calvin and talked to him.
I think that's what he was doing.
She took it upon herself.
I did. He didn't
you
ask
allowed
me to go
that then.
upstairs,
So for you to feel a type of way about us three being up there through what Bree did, that's fucking your fault. You should have came upstairs. That's what I call bullshit.
So
if you have something to fucking say, come say it.
Because
you're assuming that she did it right, and maybe she didn't, maybe she did. Who knows? But for you to carry that, be like, oh well, Bree said this. Bree could be wrong. Come fucking see from the horse's mouth. We're upstairs. We'll see it from yours. So from my perspective, everything's cool. We come downstairs. Now you're mad because we didn't fucking come down 30 minutes before. It's like, what the fuck? For me, it's A to fucking D. And I have no connection. So these connections that you're having, we're not having because you're feeling the type of way. We aren't. For us, we were fucking clueless. We're just doing what we were doing. But you're going through the experience. You're the main character in that plot. And you're mad at the side characters for something that they weren't even a part of. We weren't a part of those scenes. So how could we be at fault? Come make us a part of the scene. And then if we still say fuck off, then it's our fault. We're being fucking dickheads.
You got to remember, though, it is very respective, right? Because to your point, I know that if it were vice versa, right? And let's even say I was working on music, I was about to go down, and you're like, hey, I really need Eddie for this thing. Eddie was downstairs. And you're like, I need Eddie for the Pokemon thing. Can you go get him? I was like, all right, cool. And I go down, get a drink, come back, and I'm like, yeah, he's coming. But when I went down, I talked to you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to help set up the podcast first, and then I'll come up. Right? When I got back up, and I'm just like, yeah, he's coming. I know you're going to, when he shows up, your reaction and how you're going to choose to out that and vent that is going to be like, yo, what took you so long?
Well, this is the thing. But no, I disagree because the moment that I would feel some type of way, I'd have a flick in my mind that say, where the fuck is Eddie? And I would go downstairs and get him if I really needed him.
Yes.
I wouldn't
I
wouldn't wait for him.
I'd go get him. And that circumstance with what you were working on, what you're doing, even if I was sitting there working on it with you, I feel like we would have continued. And
yeah, we would have. And then we would have told guys who were down.
So do you think it would have been...
Wait. Let me get there, please. You would have waited on Eddie. And then when Eddie got up there, you would have just been like, yo, what took you so long? Like, and like you said, if you were really, really irked about it, you would have went down and got him. Since you didn't go get him, that means you weren't that irked about it, but you would have voiced that grievance. How you would have chosen to voice it, yes, would have been different than how Ryan did voice it. But either way, you would have, because you've done it with me before. And like I said, yeah, Ryan was a tad aggressive, but it's also because he is very passionate about this thing, and he also thought we were being disrespectful towards it. So how he chose to voice it in the moment came through his passion and his emotional state, and did have a tad bit of aggression on it. Why I agree there was a tad bit of aggression on it is because I did give you the chance to pull back the aggression when I was like, oh, you're not going to set it up for anybody or everybody. That was me sussing you out. Because when I first walked in, I always feel when you're sad, when you're upset, when you're bothered. Because it's always the same kind of because you're like me in the sense of how you process it. You're like, all right, I'm going to file it. I'm going to keep thinking on it before I choose to actually lash out about it. And so I sense it in you. And that was me kind of poking and prodding you to be like, all right, what is it about? Is it about this? Is it something else? Is it something deeper? That was me getting this conversation basically out of you, right? And then you're like, everybody. And that's why I was like, all right, he's upset with us. Why is he upset? And that's why I've also been able to give very general statements towards both sides, because I came into this room doing this already, where I was like, all right, there is obviously a difference in perspective here. Let me figure out why. And that's why I say you're upset because of how he voiced it, not that he voiced it. Yeah. But you're communicating that you're upset that he voiced it, and he's upset that you're about you being upset that he voiced being upset. And that's rightful, because I would be very pissed if somebody got pissed with me over being upset. Like, that's not how this goes. I'm voicing.
I voiced it that I was mad that you said anything about it.
No. It's how it's coming across. That's the reason this entire thing has felt like a debate, even though we've been kind of going in circles, but further elaborating on more and more situations that's happening. When you really think about how the entirety of this podcast has gone, like when we listen back to it, even people now are probably thinking the same thing I'm about to say, which is we literally just told the story about how we got here. Yeah. That's all we've been doing this entire time. And the more of the story,
how long it took to live, how long it took to talk about.
The more of the story we've told, the more understanding we've had of each other and understood the situation, understood the circumstance, and the more we feel like we're able to prevent it, which is why we're still talking about it. And so my point to like what we're talking about specifically in terms of once we actually got here, because that's where we are in the story, and that's the part that you two are kind of not even bickering, but you two are just going back and forth on, is once we actually got here. We covered when we first arrived to the house. We covered us upstairs. We covered, and now we're at the point of getting here.
Now let's cover what we're going to do for dinner.
Well, do we have a resolution?
But, and so
I'm not mad. You're mad.
I made a douche statement, 100%.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's because I already thought that
we were douches.
I thought you guys were 30 minutes late from when we did call the arms. Knowing now that Bree didn't deliver the message to you, obviously I know that you guys aren't just sitting around jacking off, doing something unimportant. You guys are doing something important. That can make more money. It doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about anything else besides. That's what I was gonna if you guys really want to do the Pokemon thing over the podcast in these 30 minutes, fine. That's 100% fine. But knowing now that that's what it was, and knowing that it was a miscommunication of the thing, then I didn't wait 30 minutes for you. I was setting up the thing. I set up the TV. I did what I could, and then when I was ready, like, okay, where are they? Then I told Keita to now Keita try.
And you came
like
promptly.
You said, you would have came and got Eddie. And
yes.
so,
and then
all I'm trying to tell you,
if Bree would have communicated to me when we came downstairs that I don't know if they're coming or not, I would have walked upstairs and said, hey, I'm setting up the mics now. Whenever you guys are ready, let's start. Keita said that we should start now because of the baby or whatever. Bree, I didn't get the information. So then, yes, I'm sitting up 30 minutes and I make a comment that now I wouldn't make, but also I can't change that.
Okay,
I get that you're
to break it down to there's one moment that it's so fucking being fucking nitpicky.
It's my moment.
One moment. Everything else is fine, and I agree with it. Life happens. Okay. The one moment that I have a problem with is the decision between, are they not coming because they're just saying fuck you, or are they not coming because something else is happening? I didn't. And the moment you chose,
it's not. It's just the fact that you guys weren't coming, and you guys didn't come. That doesn't matter if it was on purpose or it wasn't. It didn't happen. But in my mind, you guys said you're ready. So I'm like, okay, she told me you guys are coming.
I think it's a great relationship podcast.
I still feel like the pathways. I just feel like respectfully that requires a step of evolution. Of being like, oh, I'm not going to get upset at them for... Because you don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, but also at the same time, you can also take in and say, like, that even though Bree didn't say the exact call, she did say, are you ready? In her mind, she is telling you that are you guys ready? And in Takita's point that, okay, yeah, that's another thing, but in the sense of, if in her mind, if she said, are you ready? And she walks out the room, you're like, okay, in the same thing for you. If you say, I'm ready to go, but you know you're going to be faster. But it took 30 minutes and then another message to come. So in my mind, it's like, for you guys could have thought like, oh, Bree is getting us. Bree's asking you for.
I told
whatever.
you what I thought in that moment. It was the first time I saw Bree. I thought it was agreed.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, you're telling
So I did think
you're
I
telling
did
me
take
something
in
that I could
consideration.
change, but I'm telling you that you could. It's the same thing.
No, but I actually took it in consideration. I did. You didn't. That's the difference.
What do you mean? I did take in
You
consideration.
just assumed we didn't fucking come.
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't
No,
just
no, no,
assume
no,
you didn't
no,
come.
no, no, no,
His
no.
reality was there was no assumption.
There was no
He
assumption at all.
What?
that you
The,
guys
You're-
were coming.
the point that you
The
didn't come for 30 minutes doesn't matter if I thought you were coming or not. You didn't come for 30 minutes based off the fact
That I
that
told
you
him
guys that it
you
was
guys were
mentioned to me
coming.
that you guys are coming.
The thing you're upset about
They said I told him.
was a reciprocation. That's what
Your
I'm trying to
problem
get
is with
across.
me.
It's not, though.
No.
It
It's
is,
not. It's
though.
not. It's
It
not.
Because
is.
if Bree
Let me
would
get
have
there.
told
Let
me
me get
that,
there.
I
Let me
would
get
have
there.
walked back
Let me get
upstairs.
there.
I don't think she could
Let me
have
get
done
there. Let me
anything.
get there. Let me get there.
She couldn't
So,
have, but now,
we-
and I couldn't have done it. No one could have done it any differently.
We-
how it
Biggest
happened.
problem with Ryan.
We did not.
I do in this moment.
We
about
did
this
not
thing, yeah, I do.
shoot off any like negative emotion, negative feelings. We were just in our own vibes, right?
Yeah.
But because of the misunderstanding, there was this like nastiness shot off from it.
Yeah, I shouldn't
The
have shot. I shouldn't have sent a
Yes.
shot. No matter
And
what,
so-
no matter what
no,
the
no, no,
situation
no,
is,
no,
I
no,
shouldn't
no,
have
no.
sent a shot.
You didn't
That's
shoot
all I
it.
wanted to hear.
Okay, but at the same time,
You
like,
didn't shoot
it's,
it.
at the
No,
same
no,
time,
no.
it's not it
Ryan
wasn't like
didn't
I was
shoot
out
it,
of
though.
nowhere, and I'm like and
That's my
this
point.
whole conversation for everything. You
It
can't
wasn't
understand. I can't
unwarranted. It
understand
wasn't
that
unwarranted.
Bree's not delivering you that message until this conversation. I can't understand that until now.
So,
but
my-
now I
Ryan-
know.
Okay,
but now I
100%,
know.
I agree. But my point is,
But also
you
for
to
you at
feel
the
some
same
type of way
time-
before having the conversation, that's the part I don't like.
But it's
Have the
also it's not the
conversation,
first
Then
time.
make up how you feel.
No. Ryan reflected. That's what I'm telling you.
podcast girl. You
That's
know.
my point. Ryan was reciprocating and he was reflecting. It wasn't a matter of him shooting off. That's why even when you said you shouldn't have shot, you didn't. You did nothing but reflect and reciprocate. We did not know there was a misunderstanding, so we didn't see the nastiness that bounced off of him. We just got hit by it.
Exactly.
And
Like,
so,
what the fuck, like,
So, with that being
My
said,
point
I think
is-
this conversation was done.
okay then.
okay, your point. Say your point.
My point is that why he's saying you really shouldn't be upset is because you shouldn't. It's because there was nothing, like none of us shot this nastiness we just went through at each other. And so there's not a reason to be upset. He is fully justified. You are fully justified. Everybody is. Because none of us did it. Especially proving the second we saw the matter, we came. As well as you didn't waste your 30 minutes. Proves that none of us were shooting nastiness at each other. Blatantly. He reflected. So when he was like, I'm not doing that again. Hell yeah. If I set up all of this because y'all were out doing bullshit, I would be like, yo, I'm not touching your mic again. And I'm not going to set up your mic if you're off doing something I think is stupid. I'm not.
Okay.
I feel fine saying that. I feel fine with him saying that. I feel fine with you saying that. I feel fine with you saying that.
Agreed.
That is what he said. Because in that
That's
moment,
the information he was given to
his
us.
information was we were doing something stupid after we said,
Or not
hey,
even that you were doing
no,
something
no,
stupid.
it
It's
was
just that
stupid.
you were-
For us to be like, oh, we're coming right now, and then not come 30 minutes is stupid.
Yeah.
And so in
I,
his
do,
brain,
I love you. I'm not even mad at you, but
Yeah.
I just think it comes down to like this still has nothing to do with me. So like to throw that on me is like, I don't, like
but it's
what the
because
fuck? Like, it
you
has
were
nothing to do
just,
with me.
you got hit by it because it came
Yeah,
off
and
of
all I'm
us.
doing is addressing the fact that
from
it's like,
around us.
I'm just pointing
Yeah.
out the fact that I got hit by some shit that I didn't fucking deserve, and I'm pointing it out instead
Yeah.
of just being like, just taking it. That's
And
it.
all Ryan's
But
saying
also
is
it's-
I wasn't going to take it because I didn't deserve it
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's also,
So we're
everyone
sorry.
has a piece
Because
in this.
you're
Yeah.
trying
At all
to
points,
down,
at any
there's
moment,
space.
at any moment,
The nastiness could have been
I
popped.
could have walked upstairs. Any moment, you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
could have
but,
walked
like, I
downstairs.
put my-
You
Simple
guys,
fact.
hug it out.
Doesn't matter.
100%.
Hug it out.
Whatever the situation.
I love you guys.
But-
I'm so
Learn
sorry.
how to hug on
Yeah,
the
I shouldn't
podcast,
be-
not starting now.
I said, give me
Hug
some
it
space.
out.
So,
Hug it out. Hug it
well,
out.
question is, are we ending?
Okay, wait.
Well, I
Because this didn't really
Could
go.
I
keep
mean,
going.
we've been
Yeah.
podcasting
But-
about 2.5 hours now.
2.5
Okay,
hours.
to wrap it up,
Yeah.
to keep in a relationship thing, because Keita's mad at me right now for something that just happened.
Well,
when I was in the heat of my whatever, I put my arm down and Keita tried to put her hand on me.
Well, no,
But
was
I don't
trying
like
to
when people try to
say-
comfort me at times when I'm going through. It's like, don't
I
comfort me,
wasn't
just let
even
me.
trying to comfort you. I was trying to tell you shut the fuck up because Calvin was trying to speak for like 20 fucking minutes.
Why you were holding my arm
And
down?
you were finna say something again after a brief moment of pausing. You were finna say something again, and I noticed that Calvin was trying to speak, and I was trying to tap you to tell you to shut the fuck up.
You didn't tap though. You
no,
put your arm
it
on me
doesn't
like
matter
that.
what I was
You
trying
You
to
did
do.
that.
Second
Exactly.
podcast.
you
Yeah, I
did
think. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to parenting on this one.
Yeah, I think that
So
I feel like
sorry
it would be too
for
much.
the-
to
I think it
try to
became a
fit in the
friendships
last 10 minutes
podcast.
of a
But
Well, no,
what? Let me say this one thing, because this was gonna be my segue. The first step in parenting is the communication in your relationship with the person that you created this child with,
So is this a part?
because it's a two-way street. You need both parents to be able to have, and then you need what you said
like we just
to be
both
on the
put
same page, because you can't have
Parenting out the window, it's just
you can't have
friendships.
ununified fronts teaching different things.
And to double down on that too, me and Bree literally had the conversation today, because while I was getting ready, after I was like, all right, he could be mad, like, and I went on my whole stick. While I was getting ready, she was like, I got ready. She was finishing getting ready. She asked me to get Carter ready, which I realized in the moment too.
We're not ready.
That is ready for me. I can put my shirt on regardless, right? I do realize that.
That's what we should have.
What is ready?
What is ready?
I think we have a very establishment amongst these.
Let
2
me just
hours
say
of
this,
what
because it has
ready
been brought up about the
Now
mad
they're
thing.
finished.
The only time I've ever been mad is when you guys said you're gonna come and then you didn't say, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Like it just the day went on, and until the moment, and where I removed my madness was that I did one by myself. And I was like, all right, you know what? At the very least, by this time, if they're not gonna come, they don't say anything, I'm just gonna start one, and it's gonna happen. And that took away that feeling of putting it on you guys. But at the same time, I'm like,
We're not bringing that.
Don't open it.
No,
back up.
you're
But-
not allowed.
It's
You're
not
not
funny.
allowed to read
but
that
my main
unless you put
story,
it
if
on
you
the
say
TV.
you're gonna do something, do it,
I don't know how
or
to
at
do that.
least let the person
I'll
know.
figure it
that
out. I'll
you're
give a
not
fuck.
No,
going to.
you're not allowed to read
I
that.
don't- there's
unless
no
you
who's
put it on
gonna
TV.
stop
That's
me.
the whole point. That's the
Nah, that's
entire
right.
reason we
It's
It's
got
not on
into
the
all
wall.
of
It's not on the
this.
wall. It's not on the wall.
Okay.
Give it.
It's not on the wall.
Got the drill.
It's not on
This
the
is the
wall.
That's really where
It's
the
on
nasty
the
one
white
started.
table.
One, it is a
drill.
culmination of creative people and creative minds. So we as people, like this is, I guess, to wrap it up, the lessons to learn and what we need to do to be better is because
in the book.
we're also amorphic mentally and fucking creative people. If we need to have structure and we need to have guidelines, we need to have fucking peanut butter to hold the jelly in. And if we don't create the peanut butter, the jelly's gonna spill out, and that's just that. So if something needs to happen at a certain time, it needs to be stated like this is a peanut butter moment or whatever. This is a fucking solid moment that needs to happen. A solid
It's an
state.
alligator.
It's hardwired.
Alligator.
But now, to be fair, Bree's question: are you ready? Ready is in a suitable state for an activity, action, or situation, easily available or obtained within reach. Which at the time we were ready.
1000%.
But my statement is that you weren't on the field.
Yeah, we were within reach.
Yeah.
On the sideline,
We're sitting on the bleacher.
so we're ready.
What
If
is
the coach
within
says go in the
reach?
game, we go in the
Really?
game.
Look, she didn't tell you to go in the game. She told me that she did.
Well, that's the
So
coach. You have to
again,
go.
I tried to take 60% of the blame about 45 minutes ago.
It was probably like an hour ago now.
All right, well, I'll
But-
give you the 60% now.
And then,
But it's really not
I
your
feel
fault.
more like a
'cause we don't
90 at this
have
point.
But
the established
I
thing.
wanna finish what I was saying because it ties into the like parenting aspect and it both. But we were talking and she asked me, she was like, if we have another kid, how do you want to go about getting the boys ready? Like if we're ever out to go? Because
I did not say boys. Hold on.
I said boys. I'm gonna continue
I said,
saying
how do you
boys.
want to get them ready? Because I'm
gonna
not.
continue saying boys,
I'm not
but
gonna say boys. That's straight.
because right now I'm gonna be honest, I ask her like if it's a situation where I know I need to look presentable, I'll ask her to get my clothes because I'm going to just grab some that I'm gonna be comfy and I'm not gonna think about how I look. If it's a situation where we're both going out, I know she's going to want me to look good because we're going out as a unit. So I'm like, go ahead, negate the whole. All right, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Just go grab it. In my brain, right? And so she was like, well, how would you want to get them ready? And I cracked some smart ass joke, but it did make me
Do you want
seriously.
Because I know the joke.
Well, I think I said you get us all ready.
I said, I'll take one, you take the other, and he said, no, and I said, okay, well then, what do you want? You want me to get everybody ready? And he said, well, in my dream scenario, I would wake up, and they would be ready.
That's hilarious.
And then I walked away, mad at him. And then he said, "Will you ask me a dream scenario?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I asked you if you would take one and I would take the other."
Calvin just deletes the prompt. And just
No, literally, he dies.
But
Huh?
Almost.
Do we sound us?
but
No, when we're
yeah,
done
no,
with this.
it made me really start thinking though, because I was just like, all right, how
She will.
would I want that to happen? And then in thinking that, and like in my dream scenario, I had to stop and be like, all right, well, how do I think she would want it to happen? Like, what do I think she would be most efficient at?
So.
What do I think she would be like? What do I think I could actually help with? Because I know in terms of planning all of our outfits, if she does it, we're all gonna match. We're all gonna look good. We're all gonna be coordinated. If I do it, we're all gonna have a shirt and pants on. Like, you know what I mean? And so, all right, bet you do that part.
You trust him.
And then because I stop and I'm like, all right, what would?
Yeah. That's all you need.
And so.
Oh, what would we do?
Yeah, pretty much, right? And so it is.
That's how he's still
It's the
alive,
culmination,
yes.
and that's why I'm
Whoa,
gonna keep
sorry.
taking this back too. And I think
WBD.
relationships in total, whether it is marriage, whether it is engagement, whether it is friendship, whether it is dating, no matter what it is, relationships in total, even with a stranger, perception is more impactful than intention, sheerly because you have to, in order to get the correct perception, you have to know your audience. And so for her, if she wants to get somewhere on time, she'll tell me early as well as tell me it's important. Because that means I'm going to be ready to walk out. Not just ready. I'm going to be ready to walk out at the time she said, which is already early. And because she knows her audience, and she delivers her intentions based on her audience, which makes a better perception.
Yeah. I think also for me, it was in the moment that she was going to get all three of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it as like a group. But if I know Jason, I know that if Jason's doing something that he loves, you got to tell him what you want to tell him and then stop talking. Then he'll look at you because he realizes you're talking to him, and then he'll listen to what you say.
Yeah. That's
But
I realized I'm like, oh shit, he's talking to me. I didn't listen.
And then so I'm like, and then after the third time, I'm like, then you got to be like, yo, I'm trying to talk to you right now. Can you just give me something back, and then I'll leave you alone? But all three of you, I'm not looking at it as just Jason. I'm looking at all three of you. So I'm like, okay, Calvin's up there. So
I was on my own island.
Exactly. But when I sent her up, I didn't see you were all on the same island. So I was like, all right, she'll get Calvin will get everyone else, but we'll come downstairs.
Yeah.
Whatever. But if it's just
I was
Jason,
still locked in
then I
that,
know
I
it's a
didn't care
different.
as much as they did.
You know?
So I would have been like, all right, boys, let's go.
And then your response was, "Are they ready?" So then that was also telling Bree you have to actually make sure that they're ready. But then Bree didn't. But then that didn't get received. And then you instead of you being like dishy, you just went back into your thing because you're doing something. And that's why at my point I was like, you guys. It wasn't like you guys were playing checkers or drawing on the outside on the ground. It was literally you guys are creating something. That I can't argue that moment where you guys got to the end where Gen 6, at that moment you might have not gotten there as quickly or whatever if you didn't have that conversation then. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not about when it started or whatever. I think it is the communication and everyone taking whatever they can take from it and then learning from it. I think this is a great part one to the parenting because this was all about like us and even then you two, right? And then between everyone else, connection. Right, so then it's like now we can learn. Now I know. Now Bree knows maybe she needs to be more direct. Now I know that I need to double check. You know what I'm saying? All the different things. Everyone has taken something in some way. So I definitely think it's good. Sorry for the people that wanted the parenting episode, but that will come next. That'll be the part 2 of this one. Whenever
I was gonna throw this out there too. I feel like I don't want to force it, but if we go get like some food, chill out, hang out for a minute, and the vibe feels right, I wouldn't mind hopping in and doing the actual like parenting part 2, but it would have to sit, like it would have to stick. I'm not going through this
talking about today.
Yeah,
I will
and so it would have to stick.
So moments of sorry, go ahead.
No, we're good.
no, be assertive. Be assertive, Bree.
Go ahead.
My mom and everybody's coming over later.
Oh, okay.
So moments of not to erase it but it is a stapled thing that we're gonna come over during the egg knocks. But I would be okay if everyone's okay with making it a larger thing. But that involves...
What is that?
It's like, remember I told you the tradition where we knock the eggs?
Oh, that's
He
what
said
it
it
is.
so many times.
Yeah.
Every single time he says it, you
I know
hear
what it
like
is.
a new thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to like.
I've noted it 3 different times that like
See, I have no
It's
recollection
like you
of
and
saying that besides when
what do
he
you
takes
call
it back.
What do you call Subway?
Spubby.
I was trying to. Bree,
Every guy he calls us Spubby. I'm just like,
Do you
what,
know
what
the fuck
the
are
heck
you
is
saying?
Spubby?
What is
You
it?
guys
I was
haven't
trying to
seen
just.
that?
I was just trying to connect with you because
Visual design
you wrote us
thing,
this
but-
like little this passage and it was beautiful.
No, I appreciate
sharing
it.
your like your
heartfelt desires.
and like in terms of like religion and your like beliefs and stuff. And I'm not religious, but this is like the only like one, if not the only cultural religious thing that we
yeah.
actually have that's like based on like religion. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was just trying to like.
No, I appreciated
You
it.
know?
It felt meaningful. Like I received what you were trying to do there.
Is Easter a national holiday?
Ask Lucas at work. Let him break it down.
Is it? What do you think?
The way that you're saying it makes me seem like it's not.
It's a religious holiday.
I don't know. The way
Is
you're
it a
saying
national
it,
holiday?
the way you're saying it makes you think that you
I
want me
think
to say
No,
yes.
because Canadian national is nation is United States, and Canadians celebrate Easter, so it's not. Well, not that it's not only a national holiday.
Is it recognized as a national holiday?
I'm not sure.
Probably.
What's
I have no idea.
what's the
If the government recognizes it,
what's the difference?
Yeah.
I would say
Because-
No,
probably.
I know the answer because I looked it up.
Yeah.
I would
I'm
say
looking
yes
it up.
because I mean
I
it's
think,
on
like,
calendar.
Like
schools
what's
out and
national holiday versus non-national holiday? Like,
It's
what's
not
the
a
difference?
national holiday.
So a national holiday is recognized by the government, and you either have to be paid time and a half or you can't work because it is a national
So
recognition
so people don't
of
get
this
yeah,
day
yeah,
as a
it is.
holiday.
People,
you get paid time and a half on Christmas.
yeah, 100%.
Yes.
But you
You're
don't
supposed
on Easter. You're saying.
think I
No.
heard
Oh,
that.
Easter's
Easter's
always on
not a-
Sunday, so that's the get around.
It is not a nationally recognized holiday
Alright,
because
shall
it's
we?
always on a Sunday.
Anyone
But
have anything else?
I have been Calvino.
Ready to end it.
Part 1 of the parenting/relationship
Yeah.
podcast.
Woo!
So we'll get you the parenting one soon.
60%, baby.
100%. Appreciate
Well, I
anyone
would-
who watched.
I would argue it's gonna end up being an entire series.
It probably
Because
will be.
It's gonna end up
I
being
thought you were
like,
gonna go back into the
today
Easter
was
thing. I
mainly
was like, bro, I'm done.
today was mainly like relationships and just like communication
I
within
feel that, though,
relationships.
when all 6 of us are on it.
We'll
That makes
have
sense.
parenting specific. We'll have what like I
My final-
definitely want to touch on a lot of these topics in the whole
But-
series.
yeah.
My final thought was piggybacking off what you said earlier is like this whole conversation was how we got here, right?
Yeah.
And being a parent, right, is like talking about how you got and became a parent, right? How did you get there? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like
Just
we
write
talked
it down
about how
real
we
quick
got
for you.
here.
True. Just what's not? It's symbolic.
Yeah, symbolic,
Just cool.
metaphoric.
All right.
But-
I'm Indigo Ryan, the navigator.
Indy Dwin, the kin.
Calvino.
Guru.
Bree.
Bree.
Kedah.
Hita.
Y'all need
you
some
guys.
cooler names.
Episode 31. Thank you for
so much
watching.
for tuning
Thank you
in.
for y'all.
Tuning in.
We'll catch you next time. Ocean Waves.
Comment.
Ocean's on Arrival. Music everywhere. Go listen to the Guru if you haven't. Thank you
Comment.
very
I
much.
don't
forgive
care if you
everybody
like
but
and
Jason.
subscribe.
Comment.
What?
I didn't check the comments this time, so we'll have to double up.
Comment. I don't care if you like and subscribe.
No, like and subscribe too.
I mean, I want you to, but comment.
All the
Ocean
above.
Waves.
All the
31.
above.
Comment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Comment.
Thank
I want you to comment, please.
Thank you.
Ocean Waves, 100 years.
100 years, Ocean Waves. Ocean Waves.